A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation, and it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our program today, The Man Who Rode Like Revere, was written by William Wise.
Of all the heroes of the American Revolution, few have been honored more than Paul Revere, and few have been honored less than Francis Salvador. Yet their deeds were remarkably similar. Each was a leader in the patriotic cause. Each rode through the dark of night to warn against a surprise attack by the enemy. We know who Paul Revere was, but who was this other man, the one called Francis Salvador? To begin with, what was he like in his youth? And before that, what had he been like as a child?
Francis?
Yes, sir.
You know that when your father died, as head of our family here in England, I became your guardian.
Yes, Uncle Joseph.
So that I am responsible for your behavior. Now then, I want the truth. You went out riding this morning, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And you jumped several fences after I told you not to.
Yes, sir.
And then you came to a stone wall and boastfully said you could jump that too.
I thought I could, sir.
So you galloped across the field and you did jump it. A stone fence 3 feet high. Now, is that what happened?
Not exactly, sir.
Careful, Francis. I want the truth.
Well, sir, I jumped the fence, but it wasn't 3 feet high. It was at least 5 feet high. And my heart was beating like a drum till I got over it.
Restless, impatient. It was sometimes said that young Francis Salvador was both of these.
Come in. Ah, Mr. Peterson, what brings our chief bookkeeper all the way over to my office?
It's about your nephew, Mr. Salvador.
Oh, about Francis?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Has there been any trouble?
To be perfectly frank, sir, I don't think he's the right sort of man for a banking house.
Is it his work?
No, sir. It's his questions.
Questions?
Yes, he's always saying to me, why don't you do it like this, Mr. Peterson, instead of like that? Or why do you list foreign loans with domestic, Mr. Peterson? Doesn't that complicate things? Or else he's asking me...
Of course, I see how you feel. Young men always want to improve things, don't they?
They want to turn everything upside down.
Yes.
They want to change the whole world around.
Yes, and we can't let them do that. No, I'll have to talk with Francis. And I promise you, Mr. Peterson, he won't come bothering you like that again.
Thank you, sir. He's a likable lad, except for those infernal questions of his.
You said you wanted to ask me something, Francis?
Yes, but I couldn't inside, Sarah, with everyone dancing. Are you sure it isn't too cold for you out here on the balcony?
No, it's perfect. Such a warm, lovely night. What did you want to ask me?
Well, you know we're cousins, first cousins?
Of course I know that.
And you know how fond I am of your father, Uncle Joseph.
Of course. Is that what you wanted to ask me?
Well, no. No, what I really wanted to ask you was, did you really think I liked you just because we were cousins? Did you think that was the only reason?
Well, I'm not sure I ever thought about it, but if I had...
Yes?
I don't know what I would have thought. Well, if that's all you wanted to ask me, Francis, we might as well go back inside.
Oh, no. No, that wasn't all. Sarah, I love you. More than the whole earth, more than I thought I could love anyone. It's always been like this, ever since I can remember. Will you marry me, knowing me the way you do?
Oh, Francis, yes. With all my heart. Only
what? Tell me. Whatever it is.
Well, it's only that I wondered, Francis, why in the world did you take so long to ask me?
Several years of married life passed, and they were happy years for Francis Salvador and Sarah. They had 4 children, and they had each other. Then one night, the living room door swung open.
My father.
Oh.
Uncle Joseph, it's section hour. Here, let me take your coat.
Thank you.
Sit down. You look so... Father, is anything wrong?
Is it the bank?
Yes. Yes, the worst has happened. The East India Company has failed. We were heavily invested, as you know. I've been working all night trying to figure out what we should do.
Is there nothing left?
Oh, a little. Mostly in some land we own in South Carolina.
In the colonies?
Yes, I have title to 100,000 acres there, but someone must look after them. See if they can be sold or managed better for sale later. If we're lucky, our man wouldn't have to stay on very long.
Mm-hmm. And there's nobody there already whom we can trust.
No one. One of us must go ourselves. To tell the truth, it requires a younger man.
Well, then, I'll go, Uncle Joseph. If things are that bad, I'll go quite willingly.
Oh, I knew you'd say that. I have no one else to ask.
But, Francis...
It's only for a few months, Sarah. Please, try to smile.
There's a packet leaving next week for Charleston.
Good, I'll plan to book passage then. It won't take me long to get ready.
But Francis Salvador stayed more than just a few months. One night he was entertaining 2 of his neighbors, his friend Tom Morgan and a planter named Jack Henderson.
Well, Jack, I can only say I'm sorry to hear you're leaving us.
And I can only say, Francis, I'm glad to be going. I can hardly wait to get back to England.
Oh, Jack, you'd better be careful what you say. Francis here is sold on life in the colonies. He's a regular fanatic.
Well, I can't understand why. Weren't you only supposed to stay a couple of months, Francis, and then go back?
Yes,
and
that's
why
right.
didn't you? I'd like to know what could make a man want to stay in a place like this.
Jack, I want to stay because there's something stirring here. It's an ideal, a dream. It's something that has never happened before anywhere in the world.
What? A rebellion? The world's seen lots of them.
Oh, no, it's more than just that. It's a promise of freedom, not for one class, the way they mean freedom in England, or for one race or for one faith, but for all men equally. Listen, Jack, I've been talking with men like Drayton, Pinckney, Hammond, Rutledge. Well, they're willing to fight if they have to, but for more than just their economic rights, more than merely to throw off the burden of unjust taxation. If it comes to a fight, and by God's will we hope to avoid it, then we will be fighting for a kind of freedom such as this earth has never seen before.
Is that all Francis says in his letter?
No, Father, there's more. He says now he wants to stay, not just because of the property, but for other reasons. And he wants me to come if there's no more trouble.
Oh, but there will be, Sarah. I heard today. The Prime Minister won't back down. Neither side will. It gets worse and worse.
And I won't be able to go, not for a while yet.
Did Francis say anything else?
Yes, he's been elected to something called the First Provincial Congress of South Carolina.
Oh, Provincial Congress? It sounds like they mean to take matters in their own hands.
Oh, I hope he doesn't do anything rash. Do you think he'll be sensible and keep out of things?
Oh, of course. He hasn't been there long enough to be important. Oh, they won't let him say very much.
Mr. Chairman, fellow delegates. Each time I have previously entered this debate,
I have heard uneasy murmurs from a few of you. Who is this fellow Salvador? How can we trust someone so lately a citizen of England? Someone who is, in addition, a member of the Hebrew nation. Gentlemen, let me put your doubts to rest. You may trust me for many reasons, but the most important is simply this. You may trust me because I am a member of that homeless nation which has been forced to travel over so much of the earth for so many generations. Here, at almost the first moment that my foot touched the soil of this colony, I realized there was a land of great natural wealth to which had been given a still more priceless gift, the gift of freedom. And my nation, gentlemen, if such it can be called, has more reason to value this gift than perhaps any other people on the face of the earth. Therefore, I say to you, consider who I am, what I represent, and you will know that I must be wedded to our mutual cause as proudly and as firmly as the boldest among you. Some of you come from nations that have dreamed of liberty for 100 or 200 years. My people, gentlemen, have been waiting for more than 2,000.
A year passed, then another. Pitched battles were reported in the north at Lexington, Concord. Now in South Carolina, the clouds of war were gathering too.
Francis! Oh, here you are.
Oh, hello, Tom. I didn't hear you come in. I was writing a letter back to England.
Oh, but there's no time for letters now. Haven't you heard the news?
No, what is it?
The British fleet's only 50 miles from Charleston, and there's been a call from the militia. I've just seen Major Williamson and put my name down.
Oh? So you're with us now?
Did you ever have any doubts? Of course I'm with you.
But I thought we were all hopeless fanatics.
Oh, that was a long time ago, Francis. Forget all that. When I saw the Major, he said that you joined his staff.
Yes, I did it last week.
But you didn't have to, Francis. You could have stayed in Charleston to help run things there.
No, we're all needed here, I'm afraid.
You mean the Cherokees?
Yes. Major Williamson is sure the Indians plan to attack our farms at the same time the fleet attacks the harbor.
Yes, and they'll be fighting, just like up north.
Yes, fighting. For a long, long time, I think.
Well, you want to finish the letter you were writing?
Yes, there's a ship leaving tonight. It might slip through. I want to try anyway.
It's a very short letter. But all letters are short these days.
Yes, Father, it's very short.
Well, what does he say?
He says by the time I read this, England and the colonies will be at war.
Yes, we know all that ourselves.
And he says he's joined the local militia.
I thought he would. Francis didn't have to tell me that. Does he say anything else?
He asks me to look after the children and to try and be patient.
Of course. Be patient. That's what men always say to women when they go to war.
And he says he loves me. That's all. Oh, Father, do you think he'll be safe?
Oh, yes, I'm sure of it. Why, in that part of the country, there may not be any fighting at all.
But 3,000 miles away, the British fleet had attacked the harbor. 2 nights later in the hills.
Help me! Mr. Salvador! Help me!
I'm coming. Who is it? What's the matter? Who's up there?
It's me, Harry Smith.
Oh, Harry, my boy, you're wounded. Here, lean on my arm. That's it, lad.
Thank you.
We'll have you fixed up in no time. Tom! Come here and give me a hand. Yes, Frank. What happened to him?
The Cherokees attacked our farm. We had no warning.
Yeah, no, Harry, don't get excited. Lie down here. We'll fix up your wound.
50 Cherokees at least, Mr. Salvador.
Oh, Cherokees, you're sure?
Of course I am. We fought them off as long as we could. I was in the back of the house. I looked around. They stormed in the front, killed my dad, my brothers. I got out the window and ran all the way here.
All right, Harry. Mr. Morgan's going to take care of you. You're safe here with him.
Where are you going, Francis?
To Major Williamson.
But you can't. His place is 30 miles away.
I know. I have a horse.
But the Cherokees, they might be anywhere along the road.
Tom, I haven't got any time to argue. Look after the boy. If I don't get to Williamson, every planter and his family's in danger. There, get me my pistols, will you? Well, I pull on my boots.
Francis, you can't go. It's foolhardy.
Now, where are the pistols?
All right, here.
Thank you. Goodbye, Tom. See you in the morning. God willing.
In the morning, Francis. God willing. I should have gone myself. But we don't all have that kind of courage.
The moon. I didn't need the moon tonight. It shows up everything. Haven't ridden like this since I was a boy. Not since England. It's morning in England now. Sarah will be out looking after the children. How big they must have grown. I wouldn't even know them. The youngest wouldn't even remember who I was. Dear God, what's that? Just an owl. Hunting over the field. Not a band of wild Indians. Oh, Francis, your nerves aren't very strong tonight. Not far to go. Just another mile or two. Oh! Hit! But there's no blood. Now it was that tree back there. The branch hit my arm. What a coward I am. I'm like an old woman tonight. There, around the bend. I can see the Major's house. Just a moment longer now.
Major Williamson! Get up! Williamson!
Who's down there? Is that you, Francis?
Yes, I just rode over.
What's the matter?
The Cherokees, they've attacked Smith's place. Killed all but one of the boys.
How long ago?
A couple of hours. I think they mean to attack at full strength in the morning.
Good. We still have time. We'll be ready for them.
Are the men all placed, Major?
All placed and ready, Francis. I've got every man 50 miles around up in the line.
There's so much mist. It's hard to see.
We'll hear them once it starts.
I wonder if...
There's something over there in the underbrush. Be quiet now.
There they come. Hold your fire. All right. Fire left. Fire right. Fire.
They're giving ground, Major.
We've beaten them. Keep firing, man.
We turned them back.
Look at them run. Look at them run. Well, Francis, our first battle's over. I want to thank you for myself and for the rest of us.
Well, Major, I'd rather you didn't.
Oh, and when a brave deed's been done, it has to be recognized. Your ride last night gave us the time we needed. If you hadn't risked your own safety, half the people in this part of the country would have been killed in their beds. We have no way to repay you, but every one of us owes you a debt of gratitude. And for that matter, so does the state of South Carolina.
Thank you, Major.
Come on, let's go back to my house and I'll tell you what I plan next. You know, Francis, for a member of the legislature, you handle a pistol very well. So you see, Francis, we've won only the first engagement. The Indians are hurt, but not defeated. We must gather as many men as we can, try and get more rifles. You must go to Charleston for that. Then when we're strong enough, surprise them and cut up their forces.
But, Major, they've gone back to their own territory, haven't they?
Exactly. In another week or two, we'll attack them there, before they get a chance to attack us again.
I see.
Now, look here at the map. This is my plan. March from here at night, as far as the river.
At night?
Of course, surprise. Then we cross the river and attack their village at daybreak.
I understand.
At night, while we're on the march, you'll ride with me and the rest of my staff at the center of the column. Scouts out in front and security scouts out behind.
Major?
No need to whisper. We have miles to go yet.
That village up ahead?
It's our own. We're still miles from Indian country.
I've heard the place is full of Tory sympathizers.
Maybe so. What difference does it make?
Behind that fence there.
What?
I'm sure I saw a shadow moving.
No, I don't think so. Your imagination. I'm afraid you're not used to soldiering yet, Francis.
Could have sworn I saw a shadow. Like a man.
Well, we'll be there in a minute or two, and then we'll have a look at your shadow. The scouts have gone by already, and they didn't see anything. No, for another few miles yet, we're as safe as if we were home in our own beds. It's a funny thing about the dark. I remember once when I was much younger...
Return the fire! Keep facing them! Don't give ground! Return the fire, man! Now! First, you're hit in the shoulder! I'm all right! What is it? Where's Salvador? I saw him wounded.
Corporal, try and find him.
Well, Corporal, we've driven them back where they came from. How many Indians killed?
17, sir.
And how many of our men?
None, sir. 2 men wounded.
Who's that they're carrying there?
It's Mr. Salvador.
Carry him carefully there. Set him down on the level ground. Here, put my jacket under his head. What happened to him, Corporal? I saw him wounded, then my own horse was shot from under me.
Mr. Salvador was wounded 3 times, sir. One of the soldiers saw him lying under a bush. Someone was bending over him. The soldier thought Mr. Salvador was being attended to.
The soldier could have killed the Indian and didn't?
Yes, sir. The one who was scalping Mr. Salvador.
What does the doctor say?
He can only live a few minutes longer, sir. He's fully conscious, but he doesn't realize what's happened.
Thank God for that. How do you feel now, Francis?
All right, Major. How did the engagement come out?
We've driven them off. But how are you really feeling?
There's no pain. I was hit 3 times. Then I believe I fainted.
Yes, you did.
It's never happened to me before.
Well, we'll have you up and around again in no time.
No, Major. I'm dying. But there's no pain. No pain at all.
Is there anything I can do for you?
You might write to my wife. Tom Morgan knows where she is. Tell her I thought of her at the end. And say that as I lay here in the dark, my thoughts were still of her. Of her.
And then, Mrs. Salvador, your husband said, I feel no sorrow, except the sorrow of losing my wife, the only woman I ever loved. Of losing her so many years before I thought we should part. And then your husband closed his eyes, and a moment afterwards died very peacefully.
Sarah, are you all right?
Yes?
You aren't even crying.
I have nothing to weep for, except for my children or myself.
Not for Francis. He was so young. He meant to do so much.
But he died believing in the dream he looked for all his life. Isn't that one of the greatest blessings God can bestow on us?
So ends the story of Francis Salvador, patriot. A man only 3 years in the New World, and only 29 years old when they buried him in an unmarked grave by a lonely country road. Francis Salvador, the man who rode like Revere.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Louis H. Weinstein, chairman of the Boston Armed Forces Advisory Committee and president of the Combined Jewish Appeal of Greater Boston. Speaking from Boston, Mr. Weinstein.
Francis Salvador, gave his life for his newly adopted country. Deeply embedded within him was a heritage of devotion to freedom, and his heroic ride was a spark which, added to others throughout the colonies, set ablaze the flaming torch of liberty and made this nation free. There are many unsung and unknown heroes who respond nobly in moments of crisis. I saw many an example on the battlefields of Europe and in military hospitals during World War II. But fully as courageous as those in uniform were the ordinary, everyday people who did whatever had to be done, no matter how difficult or dangerous the task. The firefighter in London during the terrifying Blitz, the factory worker whom bombs could not discourage or dismay, the housewife who led her little ones into the safety of an air raid shelter. All these were men and women of true valor. Only a few weeks ago in Israel, I was privileged to see other examples of courage. Near the Gaza Strip, I talked to a young farmer in a frontier colony as he laid irrigation pipe to change the desert into productive soil. On his shoulder, he carried a rifle to protect his land and his crops and his children. In Jerusalem, I watched a school teacher calm her pupils when carbine fire interrupted the quiet of her classroom. And on the Sea of Galilee, I observed fishermen who cast their nets under the guns and sharp eyes of enemy neighbors. It is fundamental to Jewish ideals, as it is to American democracy, that each individual has within him basic value and integrity, that all men and women possess the capacity and the greatness to act when a critical hour demands action. Like Francis Salvador, they are ready to fight and, if need be, die for their country and for freedom. Their deeds may remain unknown. Their heroism may never be enshrined in song or story. But within every man and woman is the divine spark of greatness to rise to the need of the moment, a spark which is nourished by and nourishes the eternal light.
Thank you, Mr. Weinstein. Our Eternal Light drama today, The Man Who Rode Like Revere, was written by William Wise. Cantor Robert Siegel sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were William Redfield, Terry Keane, Mercer McLeod, Peter Laser, Ivor Francis, Robert Hastings, Peter Fernandez, Roger DeKoven, and James Dukas. The narrator was Norman Rose. This is Mel Brandt. This weekly program is directed by Daniel Sutter and presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our program today, The Rabbi with the Ink-Stained Hands, was written by Mark Siegel.
Otto!
What is it, Rabbi? What's the trouble?
What's to this printing press? Listen to it. Like an old gate, it creaks.
I'll admit it's a little noisy, Rabbi, but it does the job.
Yeah, it does the job. But I tell you, Otto...
What, Rabbi?
I tell you, this printing press, it is much noisier than the last one. When they destroy this press, Otto, we get a nice, new, quiet printing press, yeah?
We never did get a new printing press. And that one, the last press on which we printed Sinai, the newspaper of our congregation, was the most stubborn machine I ever worked on. It creaked and groaned and screamed. Yet, out of all that noise, there came words which sang with beauty and conviction. The noise of our printing press was the sound of the birth of freedom. There were some who used to think that the rabbi was like our printing press, just plain stubborn. Rabbi David Einhorn. They'd say he's the most stubborn man in Baltimore. And perhaps they were right. He was stubborn. As stubborn and courageous and single-minded as a Hebrew prophet. I know. I was his printer from the day we published the first issue of Sinai. That was in 1855, 6 years ago. And from the beginning, there were some people who questioned his right to be stubborn.
Rabbi, it's very difficult to talk. Wait, I stopped the machine. Now, what was it you said, Mr. Schoenberg?
I was saying, Rabbi Einhorn, that it's impossible to talk over the clatter of that machine.
So we go into my office, then. Otto.
Yes, Rabbi Einhorn.
Otto, you go on printing, yeah? I take Mr. Schoenberg into my office.
Right, Rabbi.
You follow me, Mr. Schoenberg, yeah? Be careful of your clothes. It's a little dusty in this cellar.
Dusty? Dust doesn't form in layers 2 inches thick, Rabbi.
Oh, a little dirty, then. Here, I clean a chair for you. Sit down, Mr. Schoenberg.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Now, you were saying, Mr. Schoenberg?
I was saying, Rabbi, that some of the members of the synagogue have asked me to talk to you.
They're afraid to talk to me themselves?
Not at all, Rabbi, but it seems simpler this way.
Simpler, Mr. Schoenberg? It is so important, then?
No, Rabbi. It's just that...
Please, Mr. Schoenberg, you say it, yeah?
Well, I'll try, Rabbi. It's just that a good many of us in the congregation feel that working in a dirty cellar doesn't befit the dignity of the rabbi of the Har Sinai Synagogue.
The dignity? That I print a newspaper?
This manual labor, Rabbi, it's just not suitable to your position.
Mr. Schoenberg. Labor, no matter how humble it seems, that is always fitting. To labor with one's hands, that is even a form of worship.
Perhaps our concept of the rabbinate is not in complete agreement with yours, Rabbi.
No, Mr. Schoenberg?
No, Rabbi Einhorn. I didn't wish to put it this directly, Rabbi, but our congregation does not enjoy having a rabbi with ink-stained hands.
I see. Mr. Schoenberg, you have been direct with me. I will be direct with you, yeah?
Good. I'm listening.
I will ask you a question. Is it the printer's ink on my hands you object to, or is it what I write with ink that you do not like?
Perhaps you will understand better if you know just one sentence from one of Rabbi Einhorn's editorials in Sinai. I remember thinking as I set the type that it was a sentence which might not be received too kindly in Baltimore in that year of 1855.
All right, Otto, you ready?
Yes, Rabbi?
The last sentence, then. Is it anything else, then, but a deed of rebellion against God? You have that, Otto?
Yes, Rabbi, go right ahead.
Is it anything else, then, but a deed of rebellion against God to enslave human beings created in his image and to degrade them to a state of beasts, having no will of their own?
Soon after we printed that editorial that Mr. Schoenberg visited us. And it was soon after Mr. Schoenberg's visit that the rabbi was called to a meeting of the board of directors of the synagogue.
Rabbi,
Rabbi, this is a serious matter.
Yeah, that I can see, Mr. Leventhal. The meetings of the board, they're not often so well attended.
Please, gentlemen. Rabbi, I hope you will understand. We respect your scholarship. We respect your leadership, but it seems...
But, as Mr. Schoenberg says, you don't like the ink on my hand.
Exactly. Mr. Schoenberg, in fact, has proposed that you discontinue publication of your newspaper.
Because he thinks it is not dignified for a rabbi to be a printer.
We knew you would understand, Rabbi.
Yeah, Mr. Schoenberg, I understand. Gentlemen, I ask you a question, all of you. Why did you bring me here from Austria?
Because of your reputation, of course, Rabbi, as a scholar, as a great speaker, as a teacher.
Yeah, good. But why did I come? You can answer that?
Not as well as you can, I'm sure, Rabbi.
Well, I tell you then. I came because I thought there in America is freedom. I thought there no government will close down a synagogue. There a man may pray as he will, believe as he will.
Mr. Chairman, this is hardly relevant to our discussion.
Please, Mr. Schoenberg, let the Rabbi continue.
Thank you. Then I come here. I find there is freedom, blessed freedom, yes. But I find there is slavery, too. How can I be silent? I am the same man I was in Austria.
Rabbi, you missed the point. This is not Austria. This is Maryland.
Do you suppose the Almighty recognizes the state boundaries, Mr. Schoenberg?
Rabbi, if I understand what Mr. Schoenberg is saying...
What do you think he is saying, Mr. Leventhal?
He is saying that there are matters of custom.
Does custom justify an evil?
Rabbi, slavery is as old as Maryland.
Ah, it is older. That is no reason for accepting it.
Rabbi, I don't think you understand. We don't support slavery.
Please, Mr. Chairman, please. You think I don't understand? I understand. The pro-slavery forces in Maryland, they're very strong. Yeah, very powerful.
Exactly, Rabbi.
And you, Mr. Schoenberg, perhaps you don't support slavery. But you don't want to antagonize your neighbors.
Well, I'm glad to see you're taking a practical view of the matter at last, Rabbi.
Yeah, I take a practical view, I take a moral view, and a practical view. You know my moral view already.
Yes, I would say we do, Rabbi.
Now, I tell you, I will be bound by what you decide. But before you vote on whether you want a rabbi with ink-stained hands, I tell you my practical view.
We're listening, Rabbi.
I tell you something I have learned in Austria, in Germany, too. While one minority is oppressed, any minority...
Yes, Rabbi? What are you getting at?
While one man is oppressed, no other man is free. No, I go further. While any minority is in slavery, not even the majority is free. Please, you let me know how you vote.
They voted to let him continue the publication of Sinai. And in its pages he spoke out strongly for freedom, for brotherhood, for an end to enslavement of one man by another. And while we worked together on the old press in the dusty cellar, the years passed, and the crisis deepened.
So, Otto, there it is. Good job.
Thanks, Rabbi.
Volume 4, number 1. Volume 4. I tell you, Otto, when we started, I never thought we would be printing Sinai for 4 years. 4 years.
A lot's happened in those 4 years, Rabbi.
That's true. Perhaps more will happen in the next few days.
Well, what do you mean, Rabbi?
Otto, did you read the editorial in this issue?
Well, of course I read it. I set the type.
I don't think some people will like this editorial.
Well, won't be the first time, Rabbi.
That's true. I'm afraid they won't like this one particularly. It favors Mr. Lincoln. They're not very fond of Mr. Lincoln in Baltimore.
Rabbi Arnhold?
Yes, that is my name.
Oh, they said you were German.
Oh, I came from Germany originally.
But you don't even speak with an accent.
Is it important that I should?
No, it's not. Rabbi, I've come here as a friend.
Good. I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting you before.
Well, that's true. Perhaps it's better that you don't know my name.
I don't understand. But if you tell me that it's better, I won't ask it.
Rabbi, I'll be brief. I don't agree with your abolitionist sentiments.
I see. You have that right.
But I don't want to see any violence done.
You are warning me?
Precisely.
I'm rather used to such warnings.
Now, I've come here for your own good, Rabbi. You see, there's a lot of talk about you around Baltimore.
And what do they say, sir?
They say you're dangerous.
I am dangerous?
There are some folks who are tired of what you've been printing in your paper, Rabbi.
Do they say what I print is untruthful?
They don't bother. But you'd be wise to stop writing what you've been writing.
That's what they say, your friends?
They don't say it quite that gently, Rabbi. But that is what they say.
I see. What else do they say, my friend?
Well, a great many other things, Rabbi, and I'd rather not repeat them.
Such as?
You really want to know?
It might prove educational.
Glad to oblige. What they say mostly, Rabbi, is why don't you go back where you came from?
There you have it, Rabbi. I've had a visitor. Mr. Schoenberg has had a visitor. Every member of the board has had a visitor.
Was he a soft-spoken gentleman, Mr. Lowenthal?
He was, Rabbi.
Quite polite?
In his language, Rabbi.
But not in his sentiments.
Exactly.
Rabbi Einhorn. Yes, Mr. Schoenberg.
I don't think it matters very much who the man who visited us was.
Mr. Schoenberg, did he ask you if you were a Native American? Was he surprised when you spoke without an accent?
Of course, Rabbi. He was a know-nothing. We're all aware of that.
And that is not to the point?
We're here to discuss the newspaper, Rabbi.
I think Mr. Schoenberg's right, Rabbi. You would desert your principles because they are attacked? I don't understand. Rabbi, we've all been warned. 4 years ago, when you first came to us, you taught us that custom doesn't justify evil. We accepted that, Rabbi, but the times have changed in these years.
That's just what I was trying to say, Rabbi. It's a question of safety, not a question of right and wrong.
Mr. Schoenberg, the greatest safety a man has is to be in the right.
Rabbi Einhorn, don't you have any concern for the well-being of this congregation?
It isn't enough to be concerned only with the well-being of our own congregation, Mr. Schoenberg. There is a larger congregation. I don't understand, Rabbi. The congregation of all mankind, Mr. Lowenthal.
Now, that's a big responsibility for one rabbi.
We bear the responsibility jointly, Mr. Schoenberg.
Rabbi Einhorn, you're right, of course. You're always right. But will you answer me one question?
Ask it, Mr. Schoenberg.
All right, I'll ask it. Why are you so stubborn?
You mind if I answer with a question, Mr. Schoenberg?
No, not at all, Rabbi.
If Moses had been less stubborn...
Yes, Rabbi.
If Moses had been less stubborn, do you think you and I would be here discussing other people's slavery?
It would be easy to say that all the leaders of the congregation agreed with Rabbi Einhorn, but they did not. Some considered him foolhardy. Some considered him heroic. But all, even those who opposed the publication of our newspaper, had come to respect his integrity and the force of his conviction.
Yes, come in, please.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Ah, Mr. Schoenberg, I'm glad you could come.
You expected me?
I hoped you would come after yesterday's meeting. If you hadn't, I would have visited you. I wanted to apologize.
But, Rabbi, that's why I've come here, to apologize.
It was I who spoke sharply. If you have forgiven me, I'm grateful.
And I realized afterwards, Rabbi, that you should speak.
But you still think we should not publish Sinai?
For many reasons.
Mr. Schoenberg,
In all good spirit, I must ask you, where would you draw the line?
What line, Rabbi?
The line of our responsibility to others.
Rabbi, I've already said time and again I am not a supporter of slavery.
That is no longer the whole issue, Mr. Schoenberg, as you know.
Then what is, Rabbi?
The whole issue, the sanctity and freedom and uniqueness of man.
Well, that's a big jump, Rabbi.
It goes by little steps, Mr. Schoenberg. A small compromise leads to a bigger one.
Rabbi, you're an idealist. To go on publishing your newspaper is dangerous.
Perhaps it is more dangerous not to.
I don't think you understand the lengths to which these pro-slavery men will go.
I think I estimate the possibilities correctly, Mr. Schoenberg.
And you're willing to take that chance?
I do not think there is a choice.
Rabbi, I do not know if you're a wise man, but you're certainly a selfless one.
A selfless one, Mr. Schoenberg? No, not at all. I'm very much concerned with myself.
You are? In a new way, then?
No, not new. Very old, Mr. Schoenberg. Do you know the words of Rabbi Hillel?
Which words, Rabbi?
A few words for all time, Mr. Schoenberg. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? And if I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when?
If not now, when? They were words which took on a different meaning for me. For if there were members of the congregation like Mr. Schoenberg who came slowly to see Rabbi Einhorn's point of view, there were others like me who wondered as the months went on whether there would ever be an end to slavery.
Otto, what is troubling you all the time lately? There are mistakes in the typesetting.
I don't know, Rabbi.
Are you worried? Is that it?
Worried? Yes, Rabbi, maybe that's it.
About what, Otto?
We don't seem to be getting anywhere, Rabbi.
It moves slowly, Otto. A struggle for the right always moves slowly.
But why, Rabbi? Why must it go so slowly?
It goes faster than you think. You'll see, Otto.
What, Rabbi?
You'll see. First it goes slowly. Then suddenly it goes fast. Perhaps too fast for comfort. You will see.
Rabbi, are you all right?
Yes, Otto.
You're not hurt?
A little scratch, nothing. What was it?
A brick. They threw a brick through the window.
Oh, that was very careless of someone.
Rabbi, how can you joke about it? You could have been hurt badly.
I can joke because I wasn't hurt, Otto.
Look, there's a note tied to it.
What does it say, Otto?
It says, remember Elijah Lovejoy. I don't know what it means.
Otto should read more history. He was a minister, Presbyterian minister in Illinois.
But why do they say we should remember him?
Maybe because he believed in freedom, Otto, and published a paper, as we do, to say so.
But why did they tell us?
One night, a mob threw his press into the Mississippi River. They thought they could drown the words.
Then they didn't?
He bought another press. That one they wrecked.
How, Rabbi?
They circled by night with torches and guns around the warehouse where he had the printing press, and they set the warehouse on fire.
What happened to him, Rabbi? What happened to Elijah Lovejoy?
They shot him, Otto. They killed him. Now let's get on with the printing.
We went on printing Sinai after that, every month until last week. It has happened the way the rabbi said it would. First slowly, then fast. Faster than we could imagine. Mr. Lincoln became president and had to steal through Baltimore at night on the way to Washington because they planned to kill him. The slavery men got bolder and bolder. And then last week I was working at the press when Mr. Lowenthal came running into our print shop.
Otto, where's the rabbi?
Mr. Lowenthal, what is it?
Rabbi, quickly, you must get home at once.
What's wrong, Mr. Lowenthal? My wife,
is she all right? She's all right. The children, too. But the news. Have you heard the news?
What news?
They fired on Fort Sumter. It's begun.
Oh, it should not have come to this, not to war.
Rabbi, you don't understand. There are mobs in the street. Secessionist mobs.
The militia will bring them under control, Mr. Lowenthal.
That's why I've come, Rabbi. The military commander of the district came to Synagogue.
The military commander? Why?
He had a list for them. A list drawn up by the secessionists.
What kind of a list, Mr. Schoenberg?
A list of anti-slavery men they have sworn to kill. Rabbi, please go home at once. Your name is on that list.
We took the rabbi home. We had hardly shut the door when someone was at it.
Who's there? Let me in, Rabbi. It's Schoenberg. Let him in, Otto.
Rabbi, I brought a carriage around to the back of your house. You'd better hurry while there's still time.
You think I will go now, Mr. Schoenberg? I've told you how I feel.
Rabbi, please, it's a matter of your life.
A man's life is meaningless if he deserts his principles.
Rabbi, you don't understand. There's a mob outside that door. My son is guarding that door with a gun in his hand.
Your son?
My son and Mr. Lowenthal's son and the sons of other members of the congregation.
Schoenberg, I thank you, but I do not think I should go.
It's not just you who are threatened. It's your wife, too.
My wife, too?
And your children.
Mr. Schoenberg, you seem more concerned about my safety than your own. You seem more worried about my children than your own.
It's something I learned from a very stubborn man, Rabbi. How will you go?
God bless you, Mr. Schoenberg. God bless you and keep you. Let us go to the carriage.
I took the rabbi and his family to the waiting carriage. My eyes were wet with tears as I shut the carriage door.
Goodbye, Otto. It will not be forever. Do not be sad, my son.
We're defeated, Rabbi.
No, Otto, it is no defeat. There is not defeat while men struggle for justice and freedom.
Will we ever win, Rabbi? Will there be an end to slavery?
There will be an end to it, Otto. With God's help. If we make an end to it.
It is only a week that he is gone. But to me and to all those who work with him, it seems an eternity. Yet I hear his words always. And perhaps others in time still to come will heed them too.
Slavery will go. Yet other evils will take its place. Still there is hope for man who is created in God's image. There is hope and a responsibility for each one towards all the others. There is hope, for each man has been granted the power to choose between good and evil. There is hope, for it is not thy duty to complete the work, but neither art thou free to desist from it.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Louis Schaffer, Chairman of the Board of Temple Israel of Wilkes-Barre and President of the Wyoming Valley Community Chest. Speaking from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, Mr. Schaffer.
Though Rabbi David Einhorn, the courageous spiritual leader of our story, lived a full century ago, his prophetic conception of the function of religion has striking validity for the contemporary scene. This intrepid spirit dedicated his life to the proposition that religious faith must concern itself not only with ritual, but with righteousness. It therefore follows that the rabbi, or any clergyman for that matter, must be not only a teacher of ancient and hallowed traditions, but a foremost champion in the application of the spiritual truth to the pressing problems which challenge the soul of men today. The prophetic conception of righteousness was not static or fixed, but to the contrary was ever growing and expanding, seeking to effect a wider application to a growing number of human beings. So, too, the foundations of democracy which are rooted in the principles of prophetic justice. It is my firm faith that our beloved country, the United States, has reached the highest expression of national democracy in the history of mankind. Yet it would be fatal to regard our achievement as complete and the status quo as the best of all possible attainments. As in Dr. Einhorn's turbulent period, so too today there is an urgent need to broaden and deepen the spirit of democracy. Religion must show the way. Righteousness dictates that religion must express itself unequivocally on the issue of desegregation, For the deprivation of the fundamental rights of human beings on the basis of color must surely be an abomination to the Lord. The ethics of religion demand that there must be equality of opportunity in housing, with the right of every family to a decent home, and with the outlawing of restrictive covenants which are fundamentally un-American. In the field of education, we must look to the breakdown of the rigid quotas in universities which discriminate against minority groups. Civil liberties, with their emphasis upon individual freedom, must be reconfirmed in practice. America's immigration policy must be resubjected to the teaching of prophetic righteousness. These are but a few examples of issues in which religious faith must assert its fundamental viewpoints. The Judeo-Christian tradition, which has as its cardinal principles the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man, dare not permit religious teachings to remain pious phrases without dynamic application to our national life. In the pursuit of this goal, it behooves us all to strengthen the social action programs of our synagogues and churches and to reaffirm the right of our clergy to teach the principles of righteousness, for religion in its truest sense is the conscience of the community.
Thank you, Mr. Schaffer. Our Eternal Light drama today, The Rabbi with the Ink-Stained Hands, was written by Mark Siegel. Cantor Robert Siegel sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were Roger de Koven, Guy Rep, Louis Van Ruten, and Bob Hastings. The narrator was Joe DeSantis. This is Mel Brandt. Listen next week to the first of our summer series, Words We Live By, a group of discussions by Maurice Samuel and Mark Van Doren on highlights of the first 5 books of the Bible. This weekly program is directed by Daniel Sutter and presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is the NBC Radio Network. The Eternal Light.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our program today, Synagogue on Wheels, was written by Mark Siegel and is based on an article, Tabernacle on Wheels, by Edith Brodsky, which appeared in the Congress Weekly.
Michael,
Huh?
what's going on there, yeah?
Across the street, they're reopening the temple.
Reopening the temple? Well, I declare.
Didn't you read about it? It's been in all the papers.
Why, sure, I read about it, but I didn't think it was that temple. Why, that temple's been closed ever since I was a little girl. And that's for 35 years if it's a day.
It wasn't just the folks passing by who were surprised the day we rededicated our temple here in Statesville. Some of us in the congregation were kind of surprised, too. Found ourselves wondering how it had finally happened. The way it happened, well, that's our story. And to understand it, I think you have to know a little bit about our state. The prettiest state in the country, I'd say. The state of North Carolina. If you've ever visited down here, you know that North Carolina is divided into three parts. There's the sandy coastal plain that stretches in from the eastern banks. To the west, there's the red clay beauty of the mountain country. And in between, here where we are in Statesville, the gently rolling Piedmont, where the loamy soil yields up the green tobacco, rich in its scent of bittersweet. The climate is kind, the soil is rock-free. It's a fertile place, North Carolina, a place where ideas and men can grow at least as well as cotton and tobacco. Back in 1953, the idea that led to the reopening of our temple was planted at a meeting in High Point, about, 50 miles from here.
Gentlemen, let us proceed with the discussion.
The meeting was the 20th annual meeting of the North Carolina Association of Jewish Men. Mr. I.D. Blumenthal of Charlotte had just completed a brief speech.
All right, gentlemen, let's take the questions one at a time. I recognize the delegate from Raleigh.
Mr. Blumenthal, it is a very unusual idea, I'll say that for it.
All new ideas are, my friend, that is, until they've been put into practice.
The delegate from Greensboro.
But can we support such a project, sir? Isn't that the real question?
Well, I think that's up to us. We'll find the support, I'm sure.
Mr. Blumenthal, where do you think we'll find such a man?
We won't find him at all if we don't look for him.
Mr. Blumenthal, I'm for this plan. I think it's a great plan.
Good, I'm glad to hear you say so.
But there's just one question I'd like to ask before we vote.
I'll try to answer it, of course.
This association, we've been in existence for 20 years.
That's right, just 20.
We've never undertaken anything as big as this before.
That's very true.
In fact,
we haven't done a great deal
altogether.
Now, just a minute. That's not quite so.
I'm afraid it is.
Why, we've done a very important job every year.
Well, what important job?
Well, we've driven our wives to the annual meeting of the North Carolina Association of Jewish Women, haven't we?
Gentlemen, please. Mr. Blumenthal.
My friends, I don't think the question is what this association has or hasn't done in the past. The question is this. Shall we undertake this new project, or shall we content ourselves with a total future function of serving as chauffeurs to our much more active wives?
The vote was taken, and, as you might have expected, the decision reached to undertake the project. Soon thereafter, a committee met to take first steps.
Well, let's go over the list again.
All right, Mr. Blumenthal. First of all, he must be a rabbi who's acquainted with all branches of American Judaism.
Right.
An inspiring speaker.
Naturally.
A good teacher, Mr. Blumenthal. He has to be a good teacher.
Yes, that's essential.
He should be an experienced group worker.
Right.
Good at community organization.
Yes, that's very important.
And familiar with the use of audio-visual equipment. That's a big order.
It sure is.
Well, if that's it, I'll start writing letters tomorrow.
Good, but you've forgotten one of the most important things.
I have?
Of course you have. This rabbi we're trying to find, he has to have a safe driving record, too.
If you're wondering why we look for a rabbi with a safe driving record, then you don't know about our state. And as I told you at the beginning, to understand this story, you have to know something about North Carolina. The important fact is this. Down here in North Carolina, our population is very evenly distributed throughout the state. We don't have many big cities. More people live on the land between the cities than live in them. One result is that we have the largest school bus fleet in the world. Any morning in the week, you can see these yellow buses on the roads in any part of the state. Now, I don't say that's what gave us the idea, but you can see that with our population spread like that, North Carolina is a state that could use a circuit-riding rabbi. How far is it to Mount Gilead, Miriam?
About 70 miles, Harold.
Well, I guess we'll make it in time.
They expect a big crowd for services, they said. Much larger than last time.
Good. I hope so. Miriam.
Yes, dear?
What do you suppose they mean by a big crowd in Mount Gilead?
For the services?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it could be anything, Harold. Who knows? Maybe 12, maybe even 14 people.
The rabbi we found was Rabbi Harold A. Friedman, and he and his wife Miriam began covering their circuit by auto. First it was Statesville, then it was Hendersonville, and slowly but surely the circuit began to build.
Hello?
Hello. Is Rabbi Friedman there?
Well, he's teaching a class at the moment. This is Mrs. Friedman. Can I help?
Well, yes, ma'am. Could you ask the rabbi if he could be with us here in Whiteville on the 13th?
The 13th. We're supposed to be in Lumberton on the 13th, I'm afraid.
We'd sure appreciate it, Mrs. Friedman, if the rabbi could get here on the 13th.
Is there some special reason?
A very special reason. It wouldn't take too much of the rabbi's time, just about an hour, I guess.
Just about an hour?
Yes, ma'am. Our daughter's planning to get married on that day. That is, if the rabbi can make it.
Oh, he'll make it, for an hour at least. After all, we'll be in Lumberton. Back and forth to Whiteville, that's a short trip. Only 70 miles.
Only 70 miles. Only 130 miles. Only 260 miles. In the first 8 months of Rabbi Friedman's circuit riding, the circuit grew as fast as a stalk of field corn in the rich and ready soil of North Carolina.
On Monday, Statesville. On Tuesday, Hickory. Wednesday to Hendersonville. Thursday all the way across the state to Lumberton. Okay, Harold?
Yes, Miriam, that'll do it.
Friday we can drive up through Rocky Mount to Roanoke Rapids and Weldon. Spend the Sabbath there. And then start back on Sunday for Rock Hill.
Miriam, I don't know what I'd do without you. You're wonderful, really wonderful.
Well, thank you, Harold. But it's not more than any rabbi's wife would do.
No?
Well, a lot of rabbis' wives plan their husbands' schedules, don't they?
Yes, I suppose they do.
What are you laughing about, Harold?
Oh, nothing really, Miriam. I was just amused by an idea, that's all.
What idea, Harold?
Just this, Miriam. Most rabbis have a schedule. I have an itinerary.
The rabbi's itinerary grew until it covered a score of small North Carolina communities from the mountains to the sea. Meanwhile, the association was working on the second phase of the circuit-riding rabbi project.
Well, Rabbi, you've been on the job for several months. How's it going?
The response has been tremendous, Mr. Blumenthal. Absolutely tremendous.
We knew it would be. You've been doing an extraordinary piece of work.
Thank you, Mr. Blumenthal.
Are there any problems you'd care to discuss?
Problems? No, not really. Only
what, Rabbi?
Well, it's just the same old problem. By the time I load the prayer books and the textbooks, projector, record player, and screen into the car...
Yes, Rabbi?
Well, half the time, after all the material we need is in the car, it's a mighty tricky problem to squeeze in Miriam.
On a winter day in 1955, Rabbi and Mrs. Friedman were asked to attend a meeting which would carry the circuit-riding rabbi project one step forward. A giant step forward.
Now, if you'll follow me, Rabbi, I'll show you something I think you'll be glad to see.
Outside, Mr. Blumenthal?
If you don't mind. Ready, Rabbi?
Yes, of course.
And you, Mrs. Friedman?
Yes, certainly, Mr. Blumenthal, but what's all the mystery?
You'll see in a minute. All right, you can bring it on.
Why, it's the bus, Harold. It's the bus at last.
The original plan had been for a trailer, but the size of the classes and of some of the congregations in the smaller communities had suggested that a bus, a good-sized bus, would prove more practical. Rabbi and Mrs. Friedman lost no time in checking the details of their new rolling headquarters with Mr. Blumenthal, who had planned the interior of the Synagogue on wheels.
Mr. Blumenthal, it's perfect.
Thank you, Mrs. Friedman.
Miriam, it's not just perfect. It's unique.
Look, chairs, mats, bookshelves, everything we need. And the ark. look at the ark.
Yes, they've followed the plans exactly as far as I can see.
We'll be able to conduct services either here in the bus, or we can carry the Torah into a home if there's a larger congregation.
Mr. Blumenthal, just try one of these chairs.
They look comfortable, very comfortable. There's just one little matter, though.
What's that, Mr. Blumenthal? Is something wrong?
No, nothing really wrong, but, look here. You see?
What, Mr. Blumenthal?
Down here, under the seat. Bus has only one battery.
Well, do buses usually have more than one battery?
No, but,
Well, then what's the matter with it, Harold?
Nothing, but we must get an auxiliary battery. It was your plan to have one, wasn't it, Mr. Blumenthal?
Yes, Rabbi, of course.
But why, Harold? If a bus is only supposed to have one battery...
You don't understand, Miriam. The eternal light in this bus will be powered by a battery. We need an auxiliary battery for our eternal light. If the bus ever breaks down, I could stand that. But I don't think I could abide an undependable eternal light.
In March of 1955, the circuit riding rabbi's bus was dedicated in Charlotte. Then the project began to operate, if you'll forgive the reference, in high gear. The big bus, driven by Rabbi Friedman and his wife, began a circuit that covered almost 30 communities. Now, you can't drive a big bus like that 1,200 miles every 2 weeks without beginning to become a familiar sight on the picturesque roads of the North Carolina countryside. I'll give you a clue.
Harold.
Yes, Miriam?
Aren't you driving pretty fast?
As fast as I can, under the speed limit.
You're sure?
Look at the speedometer.
I'm not looking at the speedometer. I'm looking in the rear view mirror. There's a state trooper following us.
Well, I'm sure I wasn't speeding, Miriam. I'm absolutely sure of it. But I'll slow down and let him catch up with us.
You're in quite a rush, aren't you?
I'm sorry, officer, but I'm sure I wasn't speeding now.
I didn't say you were speeding.
But I don't understand then. Why did you stop me?
I've been watching you go by this stretch every couple of weeks, Rabbi.
Oh, you know who I am, officer.
Well, of course I know. Everybody knows. Like I was saying, Rabbi, I've been watching you tear by here every couple of weeks, and, well, I've been thinking.
What, officer?
I've been thinking. I've escorted ambulances. I've escorted doctors. Well, I've even escorted the governor a couple of times.
Yes, but I...
But I've never escorted a rolling church bus before, and I reckon
you're my only opportunity. Now, you just follow me, Rabbi, and let's not be wasting any time. If what they say about you is so, they're waiting in the next town right now.
It was true. In every next town, the folks were waiting. They were men and women who'd never had the experience of meeting and praying together in a congregation. And there were folks who'd had the experience earlier in their lives, but had found themselves isolated and alone in some of our smaller communities. There were customs to be reinstituted and ceremonies to be relearned. And everywhere in each town where people waited for the circuit-riding rabbi, there were questions.
Rabbi, the last time you were here, you told us about how the children of Israel lived in booths while they were wandering in the desert.
Yes, it's called the Festival of Sukkot.
Yes, and it's customary to build a sukkah for the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yes, it is.
Well, we'd like to do that here, then.
Good, that's wonderful.
But since the last time you were here, I've been thinking... Rabbi, could you get a blueprint for us for building a sukkah?
Rabbi, I'm in real trouble.
Trouble? Can I help?
Well, I've been teaching the 4 children here in between your visits.
I know, and you're doing wonderfully.
Each time you and your wife come, your wife covers the material I'm supposed to teach the children for the next 2 weeks.
Yes, of course, but what's the trouble you're in?
I'm only one lesson ahead of the children.
Well, I know that's difficult, but being one lesson ahead is enough, isn't it?
Well, sure, it's enough, Rabbi, but they've caught up with me. Those children are just too smart. Rabbi, couldn't I have 2 lessons this time?
Rabbi, I have a very serious question to ask you.
What is it, son?
Rabbi, we've been studying for our bar mitzvah, Joel and I, for 3 months with you now.
Yes. But what's the question?
Well, we've been in the bus 6 times now to study.
Naturally. It's been 3 months.
And we've been in the bus several times for services.
Yes, I know.
Well, what Joel and I want to know, Rabbi, is, well...
Is what, son?
Before we're bar mitzvahed, or maybe even as a bar mitzvah gift, couldn't you take us for a ride in the bus?
From time to time, the rabbi did take children for a ride in his bus. One day, it was about a year ago, I guess, when he was here in Statesville, I asked him why he did it.
Well, they enjoy it, of course. But that's not the only reason.
Well, there's another reason?
Yes, I think so. I think when they ride around the block in that bus, they feel... Well, I imagine they feel...
Well, what, Rabbi?
I imagine they feel that they belong to something bigger than themselves. I imagine they can feel that they're part of a congregation that stretches through the whole state and further.
I must have looked thoughtful when he said it, or well, maybe there was some special expression on my face, because the rabbi paused and looked at me, and then he said,
"By the way, when you step into the bus, don't you feel that too?"
It was true. That was the feeling I'd had from the first time I stepped into the bus. It was the feeling my neighbors shared with me as we joined in services in the circuit-riding rabbi's bus. There was a sense of belonging to a congregation that stretched outwards in space and backwards in time. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. We'd said the words before in services in our homes, but in the bus the words felt different. We had a sense of unity, a sense of the continuity of our religious tradition that was strengthened by the words of our circuit-riding rabbi.
To many of you, this bus is unique and novel. It is, I grant you, unusual. But what is most meaningful about it is not its novelty, but its resemblance to the ancient tabernacle. That, too, was a portable structure that served the Israelites in ancient times as a sanctuary during their wanderings in the wilderness, uniting in belief the congregation of the children of Israel. From it went forth the word of the law, and a message which is also the message of this tabernacle on wheels. The Torah is a tree of life. Happy are they who understand its teachings and fulfill God's commandments.
It's been a great thing for us, the circuit-riding rabbi's bus. It was from the beginning. But if you know folks in North Carolina, you know they're not satisfied with anything but the best that they can do. And it wasn't long before some of us in Statesville were talking to the rabbi.
Rabbi, we want you to understand that we think the bus is wonderful, just wonderful.
Well, I'm glad you think so. But I suspect that's not all you're here to say.
Well, you're right, Rabbi. This circuit-riding bus of yours is all very well, but...
But what, my friend?
We've been holding services, and we have a Sunday school started, and, well, we're feeling stronger, that's all, more able to do things.
And so?
And so we think we should have a temple of our own here in Statesville.
What she's saying, Rabbi, is that we want to reopen the old temple. It's been standing unused for almost 40 years, but we think we're ready now.
Not that we don't think the bus is wonderful, Rabbi. Oh, I hope we haven't offended you. We just want a temple of our own again.
Offended me? My friends, I've been looking at that boarded-up old temple for months, just hoping for the day you talk about it. Now, let's not do any more talking. Let's start doing. There's a lot of work to be done.
That's how it began. We repaired the old temple and redecorated it and refurnished it. And now, after almost 40 years, Statesville has a temple once again. And we're not the only ones. Up at Weldon and Roanoke Rapids, they've built a new building. In Hickory and Jacksonville, they're well on the way. Over in Lumberton, just 11 families have built a new synagogue. There are Bible classes and Hebrew classes and Sunday school classes going throughout the state. And it's almost more than our circuit-riding rabbi can handle. The fact is, they're talking about another circuit-riding rabbi for North Carolina. I even hear they're talking about other circuit-riding rabbis for other states. Well, it's as I told you at the beginning. It's a fertile place, North Carolina. A place where ideas and men can grow at least as well as cotton and tobacco. And one of the best ideas that ever grew here was our circuit-riding rabbi's Synagogue on Wheels.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Abraham S. Kay of Washington, D.C., the honorary chairman of Bonds for Israel and a trustee of the American University in Washington, D.C. Mr. Kay.
Today's script, Synagogue on Wheels, dramatically represents a trend which is evident throughout the United States today, among Jews and non-Jews alike. The recognition of the need for spiritual guidance in our modern world and the active search for new means of satisfying the need. Its most exciting manifestation is in the small, isolated communities where, through group effort and ingenuity, the services of a spiritual leader are now available to a congregation where a few years before no congregation existed. While a synagogue on wheels is perhaps the most dramatic evidence of this new and encouraging trend, there are also instances of communities building places of worship with their own bare hands in order to have a place where they can gather as a congregation and sharing the services of a rabbi or minister with other small communities in a similar situation in order to have a leader to whom they can turn for guidance. New congregations are springing up throughout the United States in answer to this deeply felt need for moral and spiritual answers to the disturbing problems posed by mid-20th century life. The response to this need can be seen, on the other hand, by growth in rabbinical institutions, where the spiritual leaders of this new congregation are being trained. This development is inseparable from and an outgrowth of the search for answers to present-day perplexities beyond scientific explanation. In one leading training institution, a young man now studying for the rabbinate is one of those whose community was serviced by the synagogue on wheels. To me, this is telling evidence of the fact that not only is there a felt need for spiritual guidance today, but also that the correct responses to this need are being developed in order that people, no matter how small the community in which they live, can receive the blessing of a spiritual guide to modern living.
Thank you, Mr. Kay. Eternal Light drama today, Synagogue on Wheels, was written by Mark Siegel and was based on the article Tabernacle on Wheels by Edith Brodsky, which appeared in the Congress Weekly. Cantor Robert H. Siegel sang the liturgical music. In the cast were Leon Jenney, Ruth Last, Roger DeKoven, Guy Rep, Maurice Tarplin, Peter Laser, Beatrice Pons, Ann Seymour, Robert Hastings, Joseph Bell, and Clark Gordon. Norman Rose was the narrator. This is Mel Brandt. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America and is directed by Daniel Sutter. This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present the Eternal Light program, which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, A Little More Than the Angels, was written by Joseph Mindell.
Man enters the world with closed hands. The world is mine. He leaves it with open hands, as if to say, Behold, I take nothing with me. At his entering and his leaving, he knows the truth. But in the years between, what is truth? And what is the meaning of his life? The Word is the meaning, and the search to find it. And no time is too distant, and no man seeking is alien. Once long ago, more than 100 years ago, there was a man who searched for the meaning, and if at first he did not know what he was looking for, maybe it was because he was not a learned man, but, like his friends, a woodchopper. This is the story of his search, the story of the woodchoppers of Berdichev.
Come on, Daniel. We can't wait for Reuben any longer.
Just a few minutes more, Caleb. He doesn't like to walk alone to the forest.
And he should be prompt. You see, Gabriel, my horse is catching a chill.
Not with your coat across his back.
Laugh. If you had a horse, you'd worry about him, too. Come on, it'll soon be light.
To be a woodchopper in Berdichev, or anywhere else, was not an easy life. Woodchoppers rose before it was light to reach the forest at daybreak. They dressed in the dark, ate their bread, and walked to the end of the last street. Here they waited for each other, since it was not pleasant to walk alone on the dark road to the forest.
I'm going, Daniel. Wait for Reuben if you like.
I'm here, Caleb. I'm here.
Well, it's about time, Reuben. Come, Gabriel. You ready? Then get up.
You're more tender with your horse than you are with me.
Could you carry 500 pounds of wood on your back?
I'm not a horse.
Then don't put on airs.
What's the matter with you today, Reuben?
Matter, Daniel? It's gonna rain, that's what. It'll be a wet day in the forest.
The sky is clear, Reuben.
The sky has nothing to do with it. I know in my bones.
You said that yesterday, too.
Well, my bones ache every day, but especially on rainy days.
Give me your axe, Reuben. I'll carry it for you.
No, I'll carry it myself. I'm not an organ bullet.
You talk like one.
Daniel. The trouble with you is that you're young.
That's the trouble that will be cured in time.
The stars faded as they walked to the forest. In this hour, no longer night, not yet day, they worked the stiffness out of their muscles and talked the bitterness out of their hearts. Later, when the sun rose, there was no time for talk, for each swing of the axe was a mouthful of bread, and there were few enough.
Daniel.
Work now, Reuben. We'll talk later.
You work, I'll talk.
What's the matter?
Don't stop. I don't want to take you from your work.
No, I can use a rest. Are you sick, Reuben?
Well, I have been thinking, Daniel. I have been a wood chopper for 30 years.
That's not a sickness.
My joints are stiff. The axe is heavy in my hand.
You're tired, Reuben. Sit down. Rest for a while.
But when I can no longer lift the axe, Daniel, what then? Tell me, what then?
Reuben, I'll help you gather the wood you've cut.
No. I'll do it myself.
I only wanted to help.
I'm sorry, Daniel. I'll take my wood to the market now.
You couldn't even buy half a loaf of bread with it.
So I'll try not to be hungry.
You're bitter, Reuben.
No, Daniel, no. I'm frightened.
Daniel lifted his axe. As it bit into the wood, he knew Reuben's fear. All day long, as he felled the saplings and trimmed the branches and gathered them and carried them to the city, it never left him, not even when he sat in his own house and his wife spoke to him.
Come, Daniel. The soup is on the table.
Deborah, look at my hands. Hard. Callous.
That's not unusual for a wood chopper.
Since I was old enough to lift an axe, how many trees I've cut down. A forest of trees.
Then you must be hungry. Come and eat.
And there are other forests waiting.
You'll cut them down, too.
And what then, Deborah? That's what Reuben asked. Deborah, a man shouldn't have to be afraid of growing old.
Daniel, you're not talking about Reuben now, are you?
It's not enough for a man to work all his life only to get the strength to go to work.
It doesn't have to be that way.
What then, he asked me. How can I answer him? It's not my fault.
He wasn't blaming you.
It's not my responsibility, is it? Is it?
How can I answer you, Daniel?
He has to work it out for himself, don't you see? Even if he can't lift an axe, he can still trim the branches and gather the wood. He can...
What is it, then?
I've thought of something, Deborah. Keep the soup hot for me. Come on, Abner.
But I just took off my boots.
Then put them on again.
I'm too tired, Daniel. I'll stay home.
No, Reuben. I have a plan to cure tiredness. Come along.
Where?
To Caleb's house. You have visitors, Caleb.
What do you want, Daniel? It's late.
Never mind. Tomorrow you can sleep till the sun is up. Listen, Caleb, Reuben, Abner, all of you. I have a plan to propose.
What sort of a plan?
A plan to end weariness and uncertainty and fear.
Daniel, what's in your mind?
We'll form an association. An association of all the wood choppers in Berdichev.
Excuse me, Daniel, but what for?
Don't you see? Instead of working alone, each man for himself, we'll all work together for our common good.
I can see it might be a good idea for Reuben, maybe for Abner, but you, Daniel, you're young and strong. Why should you join such an organization? Or I? Why should I?
Why? Because you have a horse, Caleb.
Exactly. Therefore, why should I join? You see, you can't answer me.
It's not that, Caleb.
No, Daniel?
I hope that you would see the answer yourself.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Whoever joins you or I, Caleb, is helping others. Isn't that the answer?
Daniel, I know my responsibilities. I give to charity as much as anyone, maybe more, but this is different. This is a practical matter.
Caleb, what's practical and what isn't?
Your plan isn't. That is not for me.
All right. Then let's be practical, as you call it. How many trips from the forest to the market do you make in a day?
Well, depends. We're cutting the wood, tying it, loading it on Gabriel. Let's say 3, sometimes 4.
Suppose you didn't have to cut it, or trim it, or tie it. Suppose that every time you returned from the market, you found another load ready. How many trips could you make then?
Many more, of course. Maybe 8 or 10.
Let that be your job then, Caleb. I'll cut the wood together with Nathan and Joshua. Reuben can trim the branches, and Abner will tie and load.
And when the wood is sold?
Then we divide the money equally.
But some work is more important than...
We share equally, Caleb. No man's need is less than another's.
I'm not saying you're right, Daniel, but count me in.
Now you're being practical. What about you, Reuben? And Abner and Nathan?
Yes, me too.
Good. Only...
Aren't you satisfied?
Yes, Caleb, only... I wish we weren't such practical men.
And Daniel returned to his house, sat down at the table, and said the blessing.
Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who bringest forth bread from the earth.
Thus was created the Society of Woodchoppers of Berdiche, and its creation brightened the darkness of early rising and shortened the long road to the forest.
Fine morning, Daniel.
No aching bones, Reuben?
Of course they ache, but what's that got to do with it? Daniel, I have been thinking about Caleb's horse.
So have I. It's on the agenda for tonight's meeting.
It is the sense of this meeting that the horse Gabriel shall not be considered an equal sharer in the society, but his keep shall be deducted before the profits are divided.
There shall be a period of rest in the afternoon of each day when no work shall be done.
It is agreed that a portion...
Reuben! Abner, quickly, bring some water. What is it, Reuben?
I can't breathe.
Here. Drink this.
I must finish my report.
Don't try to talk now, Reuben. I'll take you home. You'll feel better in the morning.
But Reuben was not better in the morning. He lay in his bed, resting a body weary with 30 years of labor. At the end of the first week, Caleb came to talk with Daniel.
It's Friday, Daniel. The day when we divide the money.
Well, then divide it. You don't need me.
The shares are different this week.
Why are they different?
Well, because of Reuben. That is, there's one share less.
No, Caleb. The shares are the same.
Daniel, I'm tired of your commands. You're only one. The others in the society, we have a voice, too.
I hear only yours.
Reuben didn't work this week. He shouldn't have a share. Ask the others what they think. Go on. Ask them.
I'm listening.
Daniel, don't be angry.
Say what you want to say, Abner.
Caleb is right. We're sorry about Reuben, but we have to think about ourselves.
You see, Daniel?
I see, Caleb. When you divide the money, give me none of Reuben's share.
You're being childish.
No. I'm thinking of myself as you are. I'm thinking of the taste of the bread in my mouth, knowing that it's Reuben's bread, and of the light of the Sabbath candles, knowing Reuben's house is dark.
All right. right, Daniel.
Have you forgotten what our society is for, Caleb? To work together for our common good, don't you remember?
Daniel, we're not arguing anymore.
No, but we had to argue, didn't we?
The shares will be the same as before. Aren't you pleased?
Should I be pleased?
You're still not satisfied. What do you want?
I don't know. I want something more, but I'm not sure I know what it is.
I have been young, sang the psalmist, and now am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken. Maybe what a man wants is to believe, to see the righteous and the wicked, and yet not be shaken.
Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken. It's a beautiful thing to believe, Daniel.
How can you believe it, Deborah? The world isn't like that.
Berdichev isn't the world.
It's my world.
Maybe it's true, even in your world.
I'm not a child, Deborah. And if it isn't true, I want to know why. And what I must do. And how I must live, being Daniel the woodchopper.
Daniel the woodchopper is one and alone. But if you say being a man, like other men who asked questions and maybe found an answer...
But where, Deborah? Where?
I don't know. Maybe you just have to know the answer. Maybe you can find it in books.
Deborah, it's so long since I've opened a book.
Daniel went to the shelf, took down a book, and held it in his hands, feeling its unaccustomed weight. Then he opened it and turned the pages. Every day he worked beside Reuben and Abner and Caleb in the forest, and the Society of Woodchoppers of Berdichev prospered.
It is agreed by the society that a portion of each week's profits shall be put aside toward the purchase of a second horse.
Every day Daniel carried a book as well as his axe. During the period of rest, while the others sat talking, he read his book.
Our Daniel has become a scholar.
Does it disturb you if I read, Caleb?
Not at all. It's just that a book looks strange in your woodchopper's hands.
I don't read with my hands.
Oh, Caleb doesn't mean any harm, Daniel. But it is strange to see you sitting there with a book when you should be resting.
You don't understand, Reuben. The book in his hands makes him superior.
No, Caleb. The more I study, the more humble I feel.
All right, all right. Only by the time a man reaches your age, he has studied enough.
Enough for what? Study is not like a debt to be paid so much and then be done with it.
Well, maybe it's different for scholars.
We're not talking about scholars.
When I was a child, I went to school. Now I have a family to feed. I've studied enough.
Have you, Caleb? Tell me, do you remember the 8th commandment?
Of course. Thou shalt not steal.
What does it mean?
What a question. It's plain. Thou shalt not steal from thy neighbor.
Yes. But it may also mean thou shalt not steal from thyself.
Daniel, will you do something for me?
If I can, Reuben.
There are still a few minutes left. Please, read to me from your book.
In the forest, among the trees felled and standing, Daniel read from his book.
Man doth not live by bread alone, but by everything that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live.
Then he put aside the book and took up his axe. Daniel worked with haste now, as if every tree cut down was another obstacle removed from the way to truth. But always, There was another tree, and another. His axe rose and fell to the rhythm of the questions that leaped within him. And then, one day he knew. Put down his axe and asked the question aloud.
What have we accomplished together? We cut more wood, yes. We earn more money. We're less afraid of growing old.
Those are good things, Daniel.
Yes, Reuben. But not enough.
What more is there for us?
I want to read you another passage. Listen. The greatness of God is infinite. For while with one stamp, man impresses many coins and all are exactly alike, the King of Kings with one die impresses the same image on all men, and yet not one of them is like his neighbor. Thus it is that everyone ought to say, for myself the universe is created.
Not for me, Daniel. Not for Reuben the woodchopper.
For Reuben the man. For me, for Abner, for Caleb.
What do you want now, Daniel?
There is good and evil, Caleb, and I want to understand them. I want to know why I am Daniel and what I must be. I want to study the world God created for me.
Do what you like. I want to know will study and make me a better woodchopper.
It will make you a better man.
I'm not talking philosophy, Daniel. I'm a practical man.
You're a stubborn man, Caleb. You've forgotten that we created our society for the impractical purpose of helping each other, and it gave you more bread.
You're trying to confuse us. You know that was different.
No, it's the same. The practical is not what you think. The practical is love thy neighbor as thyself. And Caleb, study is practical.
We're not scholars, Daniel. You ask too much of us.
I ask nothing. Study is an obligation from which you cannot free yourself.
I owe nothing to anyone.
Caleb, listen. There once was a man, an old man, who planted the seed of a carob tree. And he was asked, who are you to plant a tree? Surely you will not live to see the fruit. He thought for a moment, and then he said, maybe not. But did I find the world empty when I came?
Well, Daniel,
wait, I haven't finished. After another moment, the old man said, if I do not plant, what am I? Caleb, if you do not study, what are you?
If ever a time should come when the Torah is no longer studied, says the Zohar, the tree of life will depart from the earth and leave behind a world that is dead.
There shall be put aside by the society each week a portion of money for the purchase of books and a portion of time for study.
Thus it was that men whose work it was to cut down trees in the forest, nevertheless in their own way, watered the roots of the tree of life. The woodchoppers of Berdichev are dead, and their descendants were lost in the hideous cloud that settled over their world. But one book was saved. You may see it with your own eyes. You may feel it with your own hands. If you open the book, you will find stamped on the first page the name of the owners.
The Society of Woodchoppers of Berdichev, for the study of Talmud.
And underneath, in the hand of a man not accustomed to the feel of a pen, is written,
the Torah was not given to the angels.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage and handling to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Philip Lown, President of the American Association for Jewish Education and Chairman of the United Jewish Appeal in Greater Boston. Mr. Lown.
All through the ages, Jews have given great zeal and religious devotion to the pursuit of knowledge. Education was considered a lifelong process. Houses of study for adults existed in every Jewish community. Many Jews would attend the academies each day, either in the morning before work or in the evening after their daily toil. For many centuries in Eastern Europe, Jews used to congregate daily for an hour or two in the houses of study. Scholarship was admired and revered. Judaism has always insisted on the education of all its adherents, because, as our sages have put it, ignorant men cannot be God-fearing men. The marvelous dramatization we've just heard is an excellent illustration of our people's quest for Torah. It validates the truism of the biblical adage that man does not live by bread alone. We realize more and more that if our greatness is to consist merely of material matters and not of the things of the spirit and the intellect, we cannot remain a great community. The American Association for Jewish Education, which is the national coordinating agency for Jewish education, has annually sponsored Jewish Education Month. The association urges our people to give undivided attention to the need for the study of Judaism by all age groups in the community, children, youth, and adults. Just as long as Jewish schools will continue to teach the basic tenets of Judaism, there is hope to develop a spiritually healthy Jewish community in America. It is, therefore, our task to staff our schools with competent teachers, because the heart of all education is the teacher. There is unfortunately a critical shortage of qualified personnel. Hence, the American Association for Jewish Education is calling a special conference in Washington on November the 1st to explore ways and means of coping with the problem.
Thank you, Mr. Lown. Our Eternal Light drama today, A Little More Than the Angels, was written by Joseph Mindell. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical music. Featured in the cast were Mandel Kramer, Mary Patton, Roger DeKoven, Louis Sorin, and Sam Gray. Your narrator was Norman Rose. This is Nell Brandt. This weekly program is directed by Daniel Sutter and presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our program today, Candle in the Heart, was written by Mark Siegel.
I'm not too familiar with the prayer book. Maybe I should know it better. And perhaps soon I will. But there are a couple of sentences I noticed in it one Saturday. Somehow they stay with me. Thy children shall be thy builders, it says. And then it says, great peace have they who love thy law, and there is no stumbling for them. There is no stumbling for them. I think of the words often. Every time I look at Joe. Joe is my boy. He's 12 now. A wonderful kid. Warm and sensitive, intelligent. There I go, just like any father. But I think I have more reason than most fathers to be proud of him. Vivian agrees. That is, she agrees now. But when Joe was born back in 1944, she didn't. It seems an eternity away, 1944. Viv, he's crying.
Don't you think I hear him, Ben?
Please, Vivian, you can't do this to him. He's just a baby.
Don't you think I know he's a baby?
I didn't say
Easy
that.
enough for you. You're away from the house all day. I have to deal with him.
Vivian, please, let's not go through it all again. All right, Joe. All right, baby, I'm coming. Does it seem unnatural to you that my wife should not have responded to our first and only child's crying? A mother is supposed to feel a child's crying, isn't she? I don't mean that Viv didn't feel for Joe. She felt, well, maybe she felt too much. But it was a time, those first few months after Joe was born, it was a time when Viv wasn't herself. It seemed as if anything, just anything, could throw her into a panic. I'll get it, Viv.
Hello, Ben.
Hi, Beatrice, come on in.
Who's there, Ben?
It's Beatrice, Viv, to see you.
I don't want to see her.
What?
It's all right, Ben. I'll come by another time.
No, wait a minute, Bee.
No, Ben. It's better if I go. Believe me.
She's very upset, Bee. She doesn't know what she's saying half the time. I'm sorry.
Forget it, Ben. I'll stop by another time.
I remember that night. I remember it well because it was the first time the thing came out into the open at all. Not all the way into the open, but some. Enough to get an idea of what was ahead.
Has she gone?
Yes. Yes, she's gone. That was pretty terrible, Viv.
Terrible? What was terrible about it?
She's a good friend, Viv. You can't treat a friend that way.
How about the way she's treating me?
What do you mean?
I mean the way she's been coming around ever since Joe was born. With that professional social work look in her eyes.
She can't help it if she's a social worker,
Let her
Viv.
be a social worker somewhere else, not here, not in my house.
Viv, she's your friend. Don't you understand that?
If
your
she's
friend?
my friend, she can stop looking at me that way with that pity in her face.
She doesn't look that way, believe
Well, that's
me.
the way she looks to me. As if I were a case, not a person. I'm not going to have people coming around here pitying me. I'm not going to let them, that's all.
No one said
I don't
you should.
care if I never see her again, her or the neighbors or your mother or my family or anyone. I don't want to see any of them, you understand?
Yes, Viv, I understand.
I'm not going to have them pitying me, none of them. Not anybody in the whole world. There's nothing wrong with my baby. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with my baby.
All right, Viv. All right. I stayed calm. I'm a lawyer, and I've had training in staying detached. So I stayed detached. I tried not to think about it too much. I tried to keep Viv from getting too upset, but it wasn't easy. Sometimes at night, lying in bed, I'd wonder what we had done to deserve this. But in the waking hours, I stayed calm. Or as calm as I could. It wasn't easy. You see, Joe, our son, our only child, Joe was born blind. Yes, Miss Wilding?
There's someone here to see you, Mr. Levine, and Mrs. Kaufman.
Oh, Beatrice Kaufman?
Yes, sir.
Oh, send her in, please.
Yes, sir.
Beatrice, how good to see you.
Hello, Ben. I won't take much of your time.
That's all right, Beatrice. What can I do for you?
I wanted to talk to you about Viv and about Joe. Viv won't even let me visit.
I know. I'm terribly sorry, Bee.
It doesn't matter. Not about myself, I mean. But what's happening to her and to your kid, even to you...
Nothing's happening to me, Beatrice.
Perhaps not.
Somebody's got to hold this thing together.
That's right. But it has to be held together out of understanding, not out of fear.
I don't understand what you're getting at. I'm doing the best I can.
Of course you are. I'm not saying you're not, Ben.
Then what do you expect me to do?
I don't expect you to do anything.
But
it would be better for you if you faced the reality.
What reality?
That Joe is blind.
That Joe is blind? You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
I face that reality every day. I face it every time I see Vivian.
No. No, you really don't, Ben.
Bee, look, I don't want to be dramatic about this, but do you know how it feels when you smile at your child and he doesn't smile back?
No, I don't know, but I can imagine.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get excited.
It'd be better if you got excited more often, Ben.
Better? I don't understand you. I really don't understand you.
You will in time, Ben. I'm sure you will. And when you do, you'll really start to help Joe. Yes. When you do, you'll really start to help Joe. And yourself, too. You'll see.
The first few years of Joe's life I didn't see. We struggled together, Viv and I, each in our own way. It was difficult, but it wasn't all pain. You know, sometimes I think that tragedy of any kind, is like war. It seems worse to the people who are far away reading the news reports than it does to the people who are in the battle itself. And we made our little compromises as we went along. Vivian would say,
Ben, I don't know what to do. If I take him to the park, I have to run after him all the time for fear he'll run into something.
And I'd suggest that you keep Joe alone in our backyard. Viv would report,
he keeps his head down all the time. Ben, why does he keep his head down?
And I'd tell her that it was all right, that it was nothing. He'd outgrow it. And that's the way it went. We became, well, almost used to it. 1945 came, and 1946, and 1947. Joe was 4 years old, and I was detached. So detached. Then one night I came home from the office, and Viv said...
Ben?
Yes, Viv?
Joe wants to know something, and I don't know what to tell him.
What does he want to know?
He wants to know what the click is in his room after I put him to bed and say goodnight.
The click?
The click of the light switch.
Well, then tell him. Tell him it's the click of the light switch.
I told him. Then he wanted to know what the light does. So I told him that, too.
Did he understand?
I don't know. Ben, he wants to know how old he has to be before he sees the light go on and off. Can I tell him never?
How do you tell a child that he's blind? How do you explain to someone who has never seen the green fields of spring or the riotous colors of autumn's leaves or the glistening brilliance of snow on the ground what it is to see? How do you tell him? Knowing that you must then tell him that all of this is for him forever barred. How do you tell your child to accept his blindness if you yourself have never accepted it? Viv didn't know and I didn't know. But we knew where to turn. We called Beatrice. It was the beginning of Joe's life and the renewal of our own.
The first thing is to get Joe into a school. A place where he can be with other children.
You mean a school for the blind, Bea?
To start with, yes.
I don't want him to feel different, Beatrice. I don't want him...
Segregated?
Yes, that's the word.
Then I hope you won't be angry with me, but it's not yourself you're afraid of segregating. Not Joe.
I don't deny it now. She was right. At the beginning, I had been the self-possessed one, and Viv had been hysterical. Then after Joe started to go to the nursery school for the blind, it was Viv who understood what was happening, who began before I did, to understand that a blind child is still a child, that he may have special needs, but that those needs can be met if grown-ups around him understand and accept him. I'd hear Viv in the kitchen when I got home from the office.
On the watering faucet, Joe. Doing it to wash the potatoes for Daddy's dinner and for yours. Now I'm picking up the knife and peeling the potatoes.
I'd listened to her, and I realized that for the first few years, right up to the time Joe had started at nursery school, and Viv had begun to learn what to do, that we'd hardly even talked to our son. We hadn't taken him anywhere. Not to the zoo, not to the park, not to the circus, not anywhere. We hadn't let him have playmates. We'd done, in short, all the wrong things. Just how wrong I discovered one night from Vivian.
We had the little boy from next door in this afternoon, Ben.
The little redhead?
Mm-hmm. Name's Alan.
How'd they play together, Joey and Alan?
Beautifully.
Yeah, did he ask any questions? Alan, I mean?
He certainly did.
What'd you tell him?
What they said at Joe's school, I should. Very simply, that Joe is blind.
And what'd Alan say?
Alan? He said, oh, is that so? I'm not blind. I'm a redhead.
When Joe was 6, he went to school. A regular public school, except that there were special classes for children who couldn't see. Classes in what they called Braille.
Hey, see, Ben, they start them off with this.
Just these little raised dots?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how will he ever get to be able to read them?
Thousands of blind people do, Ben. Now, look, there are just these 6 little dots, you see?
Yes, I see.
Now, here, when there are just 2 dots like this diagonal arrangement, that's an A.
Well, I see what the theory is.
Ben, it's not the theory. It's that he's going to be able to read. Now, you see, this is a B. These dots make a C.
Yes, I understand.
I don't think you do.
What's that?
I say I don't think you do understand. I don't think you understand at all.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about how removed you are. How you don't really care what happens to Joe.
Don't care? I care with all my heart.
I don't think you believe in him, Ben. I don't think you have confidence that he can have a good life.
That's a remarkable statement coming from you,
Perhaps
Viv.
it isn't, perhaps it
All
isn't.
these years, who's held this thing together? What was it like when he was first born?
Oh, please, Ben.
Don't you think I have feelings, too? Do you think it's been easy?
I know it hasn't been easy. But you haven't tried. You really haven't tried to understand.
And you have?
Yes, lately. Since I met some of the other mothers at school.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you can find some consolation in that pathetic little alphabet of dots. I can't.
I know you can't. That's why I'm talking to you.
I have to work out my own way of meeting this situation.
I know you do, and I'm sorry.
Sorry? You don't have to be sorry for me, Viv. I'm just doing the best I can.
That's what I used to say at the beginning.
It's still true, Viv. Don't you think I love Joe? You talk as if you think I don't love him.
I know you love Joe. That's why you're suffering, but I'm not sure...
Not sure of what?
I'm not sure that you love yourself.
We argued, we fought, we made up, and we argued again. In our house, where there had been no dissension, no discord, each day was a dangerous day, an uncertain day. And now, as Vivian had at the beginning, I began to look back at my life, to ask myself the most terrible of all questions. What had I done that was wrong? I'm a reasonable man. Or at least I've always thought of myself as a reasonable man. I'm a logical man. But life is not always reasonable or logical. While Joe grew and went to school and read his books in Braille, I tried to reason with myself, to reach to the riddle of my unhappiness. But the solutions to a man's problems do not always come from reasoning or logic. Sometimes they come with the help of the very young. Sometimes with the help of a man's own son.
Dad?
Yes, Joe?
Dad? Would you do something for me?
Of course, son. Is there something I can get you?
No, not yet. Do.
Well, sure. What is it?
Well, I want you to take me someplace on Sunday.
Someplace special?
To the Hebrew school.
To the what?
The Hebrew school.
Well, if you want me to, Joey, I'll do it, but I don't know what you're going to do there.
I'm going to study Hebrew, Dad. That's what I'm going to do there.
Look, Joey, I don't think you understand, son. You see, you've got so used to reading things in Braille that you think everything's in Braille. I don't see how you...
There are Hebrew books in Braille, Dad.
There are?
There's some society makes them.
Oh, I didn't know.
Will you take me?
All right, sure. Joey...
Yes, Dad?
Why do you want to go to Hebrew school? I mean, we haven't been much for that kind of thing in our family. And...
I know, Dad.
Well, then why do you want to go?
Well, most of the Jewish kids in my class do go.
That's the reason?
Sure. I'd feel kind of lonely if I didn't go.
That's what he said to me. I'd feel kind of lonely if I didn't go. So I took him to the Hebrew school. They've got Braille books for him from the Jewish Braille Society. That's right. Books written in Hebrew Braille. And I watched my son, my blind son, do something that I had never done. Begin to study the Bible and the prayer book. Begin to learn the traditions of his people and his religion.
Dad?
Yes, Joe?
Dad? There's something here I don't understand.
Well, I don't know if I can help you, Joey. I don't know very much Hebrew. Hardly any at all, in fact.
It's not the Hebrew, Dad. I have this translation of it here. But I'm not sure what it means.
What means?
This sentence, Dad. It's our memory verse for the week. Separate not thyself from the congregation. Do you understand what it means, Dad?
If you're a father, then perhaps you've had the experience of pride that comes with the first time your child solves a problem in algebra or science which you cannot solve. It's a common experience, that moment. The moment in which you recognize that your child has outstripped you in his capacity for learning or for growth. But if for the first 12 years of your child's life, you've considered him handicapped, if you've made the lifelong error of thinking that a child who is blind is also unseeing, then that moment comes with a great illumination. An illumination which can guide a man's way as a lamp unto his feet.
Ben, where are you going?
To the synagogue, then.
To the synagogue? You?
Yes, me, with Joe.
Well, what are you going to do there? You can't even read the prayer book.
I'm going to learn. If Joe can learn, I can learn.
You're going to learn Hebrew?
That's right.
That'll take a long time, a long, long time.
I know it. And when I've learned it...
Yes, Ben?
Then I'm going to learn Braille. I don't plan to separate myself from the congregation. Not any congregation. Not even the congregation of my own family. We've stood together, Joey and I, in the congregation, and I've watched Joe's fingertips lightly passing over the tiny dots of Hebrew Braille, a gentle smile of belonging.
Can you read as fast as he sings, Dad?
Just about, Joey. How about you?
Oh, I can keep up with him all right.
You can more than keep up with him, Joey. And you're way ahead of me.
Dad? You know how you sound now?
How, Joey?
I'm not sure, of course, but I'm almost sure. You sound as if you're smiling.
I don't know the prayer book very well, but there are a couple of sentences. Thy children shall be thy builders, one says. And then it says, great peace have they who love thy law, and there is no stumbling for them. When I think of the words, I think of Joe, but I think also of myself and others. My son is blind, yet the power of his spirit to see has been greater than my own. My son who cannot see has kindled a bright candle of understanding in my heart. And I ask you humbly, you who live with me in the light-filled world, who is really blind? Only those who waste God's gift of life and spirit. Only those who do not live in a well-lighted universe within.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage and handling to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. Now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Joseph Wool, a distinguished community leader and a member of the Board of Directors of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Mr. Wool.
Yes, we can rightfully ask ourselves, who is really blind? Certainly it's not little Joe. Though he cannot see the faces of his mother and father and the world about him, he can imagine, he can have faith, he can perceive, he can feel, and thereby he is able to light the candle of understanding in the hearts of his parents. Today's play tells us that life must be held together out of understanding, not out of fear and frustration. Sight itself does not automatically endow man with these powers. This is the province of vision. Vision is available to all who are ready and willing to ponder the meaning and the problems of life, to face them not as threats, but as challenges. In this way, our lives become creative sources of constant wonder and delight, lighting up the blind alleys and stumbling blocks in order that we may see beyond them. Last month, there was published a widely acclaimed high holiday message entitled, Who Takes Delight in Life? This message, dedicated to people of all faiths everywhere, points out that everyone has been given the gift of life, the power of vision, and the power to serve, and that those who fail to appreciate and use these gifts to the fullest will find no meaning in life. Little Joe of our story knows this instinctively. His parents had to learn it the hard way. In our efforts to give meaning to our lives, we must learn to do two things, both of which are very difficult. We must learn to build on the blessings we have, so that they may enrich our lives and the lives of those around us. And we must learn the hard job of overcoming the problems that face us in our personal lives, to grow in the process of solving these problems. What is true of each of us as individuals is also true of America as a nation. Our country must maintain the vision to which it has been dedicated from the beginning of its history, to use the abundant blessings of our land both for the benefit of ourselves as well as for the benefit of all mankind. At the same time, we must honestly face the problems which still remain, one of which is the serious challenge to full equality for people regardless of race, religion, or national origin. And so, as individuals and as a nation, we must always meet the challenges of life and utilize the God-given vision which enable us to grow creatively.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Our Eternal Light drama today, Candle in the Heart, was written by Mark Siegel. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical music. Featured in the cast were Mandel Kramer as Ben, Terry Keane as Vivian, Peggy Allenby as Beatrice, and Peter Laser as Joe. This is Lionel Rico speaking. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America and is directed by Daniel Sutter. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation, and it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations presents the Eternal Light program, which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, A New Beginning, was written by Rhea Weinstein.
Good morning, Lucia, my dear. Any mail today?
An air mail from Israel, from Marek.
Well, what does that brother of yours have to say?
His wife is expecting another baby.
Another baby? Congratulations. Marek has plenty of family these days, even if he has to create it himself.
Well, thank God for that. He'll never be lonely again. More coffee, Dilek? What was that? Yes or no?
So many years married and my wife still does not understand me.
Who could understand you mumbling behind a newspaper?
Lovers should be able to communicate without words. More coffee, please.
Lovers don't read newspapers at breakfast.
That's true. Reading the newspaper at breakfast is an artifice created by husbands in self-defense.
Is it so hard to face the day with me?
Lucia, darling, are you serious about this?
Well, a little.
Then I won't read any more. I put it away right now. And listen to this. Fernwald is closing.
Camp Fernwald is closing?
Yes, here it is. The American Joint Distribution Committee announces that the last remaining camp for Jewish displaced persons is about to be closed by the Bavarian government.
I didn't realize that there were any camps still in existence. Only 10 years. And it sounds like ancient history.
Some people have forgotten that whole era of DP camps. The purpose they served, the people they saved, and healed, and fed, and clothed, and educated. Hundreds of thousands of them.
Where did they all go, I wonder?
Where did they all go, those displaced persons? After the war, most people wanted to go home. Just to go home as quickly as possible. But what of the Jews? To what home could they return? Home was the scene of pillage and plunder, of violent death. Home was enemy territory forever. For as long as one lived or could remember.
Wilek, how far is Fürnwald from Landsberg?
The camp where we met? Not far, I would say 20 or 30 miles.
Marek walked it.
Yes, he did walk it, didn't he? Well, it was worth it. He found what he was looking for.
Oh, we were lucky.
All three of us. He found his sister, and he found me, a wonderful wife.
You were so good to him. You and Abrasha.
He was only a boy in desperate need of a family. Very emotional.
Yes, it was always emotional.
More than once, I had to wake him out of nightmares. One in particular kept repeating. Wake up. Marek, wake up.
What? Oh.
You were crying in your sleep.
Thanks for waking me. I was dreaming.
Yes, I gathered.
We were hiding behind some chimneys on a neighbor's roof, listening for the Nazis. My parents and I and my sister Lucia.
Marek, that is all in the past. It is finished, I tell you. You must look to the future. You are a free man.
I don't feel it. Look at this number on my arm. The shadow of many deaths hangs over me. And we are still in a camp.
Yes, it is a camp. But we are housed and clothed and fed. We are organized. In unity there is strength. Remember that. Together we can accomplish a great deal. While we wait to be admitted to other countries, we can use our time constructively. The Jews of all the world are helping us.
I don't want charity. I want to study and work and stand on my own feet.
It isn't charity. It is an act of faith. When did you get back? Did you find anyone you knew in Kovno?
No one of my family.
I'm sorry to hear it.
Wilek, I am a survivor.
We are all survivors. Shearis hapletor. Remnants of a people.
There will be no one with whom to talk of youth and home. My roots have been cut.
You will sink new roots. That is nature's way, and it is the way of God. A man sends down roots wherever he walks.
Why did it happen? What has it taught us?
That we are still savages, my friend. We have a long way to go.
You are right. Excuse me for sleeping in your bed, Wilek. I was so tired when I got back, and I found a stranger asleep in my bed.
Here you are. Why aren't you at the concert? Hello, Marek. When did you get back? Come downstairs. There is a girl from Lvov with a most beautiful voice.
Well, it must be something special. Abrasa is really excited.
I have some good news. We found some type. Some Hebrew type in an attic in Munich.
Wonderful. What about newsprint?
We have a promise from an UNRWA official. We will have newsprint. Don't worry about that. Meanwhile, we will hand-print the bulletin and put it on the wall. Why don't you write one of your poems for us, Marek, eh?
For your newspaper? Oh, you are joking. Poetry is for educated people.
Poems are for the heart, not for the intellect, my friend.
I am not even sure I speak correctly.
Sometimes those who cannot speak can sing.
Of what can I sing, Wilek?
Of spring, man, of spring.
Of home, Marek.
Of the future.
Brasha, you sound like a man with a full stomach.
Oh, you are hungry.
We'll get something at the canteen.
But I have no money left.
Who needs money? You are among friends. Come, let's go.
She reminds me a little of Lucia.
Your sister?
Yes. I found no trace of her. No evidence that she is alive.
And did you find any evidence that she might be dead?
No, I didn't.
Well, then.
Abrasha is right. The Jewish population of Europe is in motion. Every day, new people wander in and out of here. One of these days, you'll hear about her. Now, come, let's find you something to eat.
Wait, she's going to sing again.
You are hungry. Come.
Vilek, what's going on in that room across the hall?
The Zionists are welcoming the Sabbath.
Zionists? Here?
The Jewish Brigade from Palestine has done a great job of propaganda. They go from camp to camp, organizing Zionist cells, establishing Hebrew schools in kibbutzim, teaching agriculture. Did you know they have a kibbutz on Julius Streicher's estate?
A kibbutz on Julius Streicher's estate?
Ironic, isn't it?
They are preparing themselves for life in Palestine.
Palestine. Another dream.
It is not a dream, Mark. History will say of these people that when the darkness befell us, they lighted candles in the wilderness. They led the way.
And proclaimed liberty throughout the land.
Wait a moment, listen.
And the
I think they are reading from Isaiah.
Prepare ye in the wilderness the way of the Lord. Make straight in the desert the highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. And the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. O thou that tellest good tidings to Zion, get thee up into the high mountain. O thou that tellest good tidings to Jerusalem, lift up thy voice with strength. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked places straight. I will bring the blind by a way that they know not.
I have never read Isaiah. It's beautiful.
Nobody in that wilderness prepared harder than Abrasha. In his heart, he knew there would be an Israel someday.
What a man. What a dear, wonderful man.
Be careful. Everything you say will be held against you. I prefer to believe the best man won.
Abrasha was not just a man. He was an experience.
I can't be jealous of Abrasha. I loved him too. He was the moving spirit of the camp.
Good morning, good morning. I thought you were going to sleep all day.
Not so loud, please. I haven't had coffee yet.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day.
Please, Abrasha, it's not yet 8 o'clock.
I feel like singing.
Sing at the risk of your life.
Here comes Marek. Hello, sleepwalker.
How long have you been up? Was that you I heard singing with the birds?
You're too healthy, Abrasha. It is not aesthetic.
The health is up here, my friend, in my head. Attitude, that's the secret. Attitude. Hurry and finish your breakfast. We have work to do. This afternoon, we write the bulletin, but this morning, we get our physical examination at the clinic.
What about helping me with my chemistry? I have only a week to prepare for the qualifying examination.
Now, don't worry. We'll help you. In 2 years, I guarantee you'll be a pharmacist.
2 years? In times like these, 2 years.
Marek, you'll have a profession with the help of God.
And ORT and the Joint Distribution Committee.
I hope so. What are your plans, Vilek? What will you be?
What I've always been, a history professor.
Palestine. That is the place for intellectuals. That is where I am going.
What will you do there?
A delicate question. Abrasha will give advice.
Thank you. Advice giver. That is the most revered profession of all.
And how will you get to Palestine, Abrasha? Will you swim?
Like everyone else, I suppose. 95% of all displaced persons want to go to Palestine. If possible, we will go legally. If necessary, we will swim.
What's going on out there?
Let's go see.
Soldiers, British soldiers.
Those flags, they are waving. Blue and white flags.
Stars of David. God in heaven, the Palestine Brigade of the British 8th Army.
Let's get closer.
Stop pushing.
Don't crowd to get the pearl. We all want to see.
Oh, she's alive. She's alive. My wife is alive.
What are you screaming about? His wife is alive. Some people have lost and thank God.
British reconnaissance cars of the Jewish Brigade had become a mobile post office, a lost and found department. Inmates of various camps and hospitals across Europe had written their names and addresses on the cars. In a matter of seconds, hundreds of people swooped down upon the cars, searching feverishly with nervous fingers among the many languages for that familiar name that would spell the resurrection of a loved one.
Oh, my father, my father.
Officer, please. This name here, Lucia Weiss, Geretsried. Where's that?
Well, that's a hospital. We were there last week.
How does one go there?
Perhaps the Central Committee will help you.
I doubt it. This whole camp will soon be on the move, looking for relatives.
Oh, don't worry. Start your journey. Help will come.
It's not for me. I'm asking for a young friend.
No one is young who has gone through this. He will find his way.
Willick was right. Hundreds of men and women set out on a march across Europe. To cities, camps, hospitals, searching, seeking, hoping to find a husband or a wife, a sister or a brother, a parent or a child.
Kommen Sie herein.
Bitte, I am looking for my...
Sit down and wait your turn. Next. Next.
Bitte, I am looking for my sister, Lucia Weiss. I was told she is in this hospital.
One moment. Weiss. Leon, Lily? No, Lucia.
Huh?
She's not here.
Where is she? Where did they take her?
Those who recovered sufficiently were taken to Camp Feldafing.
But that means she can walk?
Probably.
Feldafing. Thank you. I will go to Feldafing. Bitte, where is the office of the registrar?
In the Russian barracks, those buildings over there.
Russian barracks?
Oh, the Russian prisoners of war were housed there.
This is a beautiful place. The drive through the mountains was magnificent.
Where are you from?
I come from Landsberg.
Oh, from Landsberg. That is a good place, I hear. They are organized with committees by the dozen. One of our girls went to Landsberg just yesterday. She found a brother there. Maybe you know him. Weiss, Mark Weiss?
Lucia. She left. When did she leave?
Oh, this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, where are you running? Come and have some soup with me. 250 calories. Hey, calories from UNRWA.
I suggest we wait in Willick's room. That is the first place Marek will rush to. Willick is the father image.
You'll soon find out, Lucia, that Abrasha talks too much.
That depends on what he says.
You see, my charm has already reached her.
Wherever there is a beautiful woman, there is Abrasha with his charm.
Don't be bitter, my friend. Just do your best. You are an intellectual. I am charming.
Here is Marek.
Lucia's here.
Yes, Lucia is here.
Oh.
Well, where is your greeting?
Lucia.
Darling. Oh, look at him. He's a man. I didn't expect to see a man.
It is a well-known fact that men from little brothers grow.
Marek, why didn't you tell me Lucia was beautiful? What was the big secret?
I didn't know she was beautiful. She was my sister.
Now we leave the family alone. I will see you later.
Family.
Lucia. Marek, my little brother, let me look at you. Oh, God.
Lucia, promise me you won't get upset.
Bad news again? What did they tell you at the American consulate?
Nothing we did not know before. With tuberculosis, they won't take us in anywhere.
Oh, but I'm so much better. I can even work. Marek, please don't stay here because of me. Go to America.
Lucia, I have been thinking. Suppose we try to go to Palestine after all.
That's what you really want, isn't it?
Let me try to explain how I feel. I used to think I was a Pole. So did you. 6 million people who thought of themselves as Poles, Germans, Czechs, Frenchmen, discovered one terrible day that they were just Jews. That's why we need Palestine. We must build a refuge there for the handful that are left. We must save the plants that bear the seed for a continued Jewish life.
But it isn't as though we can go there. Palestine is not yet a Jewish state.
We'd get there somehow.
You're an optimist like Abrasha. Suppose we get caught.
That's possible.
We might get separated again.
That's a terrible thing to say.
But it could happen.
I'll ask Abrasha to talk to you about it. If he isn't too busy talking to you about other things.
Oh.
You know what I mean.
Oh, he enjoys being kind to me, that's all. He'll never convince me about Palestine, however.
Why not? Please, Lucia, why not?
Because I feel I just can't struggle anymore. I've had enough of turmoil. Oh, I need peace and quiet.
That's because you're so weak. When you get stronger, you'll feel differently. Lucia, I feel I must speak to you about something.
Yes, what is it?
You know that Abrasha is married?
Oh, yes, he told me. He hasn't heard of his wife in years.
But the news may still come.
Yes, I know. Oh, don't look so solemn.
It's a serious thing.
No, not yet. It's not serious yet.
I am your brother. I must protect you.
I appreciate it. But if you protect me too well, you may be left with an unmarried sister on your hands.
Lucia, is that brother of yours giving you trouble? You look serious.
No, not at all. Where have you been? What have you got there?
I brought you something. Be careful now. Gently.
Now, what is it? What? Oh, an egg. An egg. Oh, thank you.
What did you have to give for it?
Only my birthright and my second best pants.
You're so kind, Abrasha.
Well, we have to make her strong. Palestine needs strong women.
Lucia isn't going to Palestine.
What's that? Where else can she go?
We'll go to America when Lucia is cured.
And Marek will be a pharmacist.
All of a sudden, one becomes a pharmacist in America? He will have to go to school there.
There are organizations who will help us get started.
Lucia, are you serious about going to America?
Yes, I am. I hope you will come with us.
Thank you, but it is out of the question. I feel I must help to establish a land where our people are not the minority, to be cut to pieces at the will of every madman. We need a nation who can speak for us among other nations.
I can't see that far ahead, Abrasha.
It's not so far as you think. The nation of Israel is being born right now, here in these camps, by the will and the spirit of the people who cannot be crushed.
Apparently Mark feels the same way. Perhaps we'll go to Palestine after all.
Impossible. Even if we got there alive, Lucia couldn't stand the frontier life.
Right so. Lucia is very, very delicate.
Where did you come from?
What's the matter? What are you hiding under your coat?
Not so loud, please.
The professor has been to town.
Keep your voices down. I have liberated a bottle of wine.
Tonight we celebrate.
Yes, I have news.
Good news? Tell us quickly.
New schools of higher learning are being organized by the Joint Committee and UNRWA. There is an opening for me in Italy.
Italy? Oh, how marvelous.
You aren't going to Italy?
I will if Lucia and Marek will come with me. Marek will continue his studies there. The Joint Committee will subsidize him. Lucia could take the cure. I would teach. And we would wait for visas to America.
You too to America?
While we are dreaming, my friend, we might as well be flexible. If we had a choice and had to make a decision, there are arguments on both sides.
Please, no philosophy.
No. Let's hear what Vilek has to say.
The mood has passed. I'm too sober.
Go on, talk.
Well, I was just going to say that we don't know what faces us in Palestine. It may be more sensible to go where you know you can make out, where each man can make his contribution in his own way.
Please, Abrasha, come with us.
No. I go to Palestine and make a safe place for all of you.
There is no such thing as a safe place for a special group. Wherever we are, we must work toward making the whole world a safe place for everyone.
You have made your point, Professor. You are a smart man.
And you are a brave one.
And you're both right.
Don't worry, Abrasha. Wherever we are, we will never stop working to make Palestine a Jewish state.
So you are all leaving. And this is the end for us?
Every end brings a new beginning. Each of us is beginning a new life. And with God's help, it will be a fruitful one.
For the first time, I see the purpose of philosophy. Let's have a drink. Glasses! Where are the glasses?
I brought some paper cups.
Good. Now I make a toast. To the new beginning, wherever it may be.
Amen. Amen. Yes, it was a new beginning, all right. Abrasha had news of his wife the following day.
And Marek suddenly fell in love, got married, and started a family of his own.
And he hasn't stopped yet.
And see what happened to us.
Ah, yes. In a fit of springtime insanity, I gave up my glorious bachelorhood.
And lived happily ever after. Would you like some more coffee?
Yes.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage and handling to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Charles Rosengarten of Waterbury, Connecticut, President of the United Synagogue of America, and a member of the Board of Overseers of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Mr. Rosengarten.
We have just heard Billick say, wherever we are, we must work toward making the whole world a safe place for everyone. That expression paraphrases what Israel's sages and prophets many centuries ago preached and strove to bring about through the establishment of the kingdom of God on earth. This aspiration, in its broadest implications, is the essence, the crystallization of Judaism. Throughout the ages, Jews clung tenaciously to that ennobling, purposeful ideal. Despite the Hitlers of our day and all the cruel vicissitudes other inhuman minds during the past 2 millennia could contrive to displace, to torture, and slaughter countless millions of them, yet their faith, their sense of mission was ever deep and strong. It was that faith that enabled at least remnants of Jewry to withstand all the barbarities inflicted upon most of their generations. Because of the willingness of our forebears to suffer martyrdom rather than surrender their beliefs, and surely because it must be God's will, Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel, lives. We in these free and blessed lands of the United States and Canada are equally determined that the people of Israel shall survive. We here, in the very building of Jewish educational institutions and houses of God, are making our contributions to the cultural and spiritual enrichment of these, our beloved countries. And simultaneously, with steadfastness and solidarity, we are and shall maintain a spiritual oneness and kinship with our brothers in Israel's ancient land. First, because we have solemnly committed ourselves to do so in the vow contained in the 137th Psalm, in which we said and say, If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget its cunning. Let my tongue cleave to my mouth if I remember thee not, if I set not Jerusalem above my chiefest joy. Then again, in addition to other vital considerations, we have an abiding faith that once again out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of God from Jerusalem. To these objectives we have dedicated ourselves with all our hearts. We have done so because we believe that it will ultimately make of the world a better, safer place for all mankind.
Thank you, Mr. Rosengarten. Our Eternal Light drama today, A New Beginning, by Rhea Weinstein. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical music. Featured in the cast were Vilma Cura, Brett Morrison, Peter Fernandez, Leon Janney, Alastair Duncan, Nina Henson, Bob Hastings, and Fran Streetinger. The singer was Hannah Amsterdam Kligfeld. Your narrator was Bert Cullen. This is Mel Brandt. This program is directed by Daniel Sutter and presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is the NBC Radio Network.